Hello fellow survivors, and today we're doing another challenge walkthrough. This time the challenge that many people think is the hardest challenge of all, namely the one called Escape the Darkwalker. This one is a relatively recent challenge. It was added as a Halloween event in, I believe it was October 2020. And it was quite popular because it was very different. It's not very Darkian in that you have this supernatural entity following you, but it definitely had a very airy feel. And then it was quite popular, so they put it into the game permanently, except that in the Halloween event, it was literally just about surviving as long as you could and getting all 10 pages so you can get a special badge, which was, I think it was it the, I think it was one of these ones. Yeah, this one, that's it. But then they added it into the game, and now the difference is that you can now banish the Darkwalker, but doing so requires that you collect all 10 pages and then go to Ash Canyon. And this is one of only 2 challenges that has the highest difficulty rating in the game, the other one being As the Dead Sleep. And I would say As the Sleep is probably harder because Escape the Darkwalker has an easier setting. It's kind of like Voyager loot. We still have to deal with wolves, and Darkwalker can be quite tricky. So this is one of those challenges that a lot of players have done, but not everyone has completed it because they find it quite difficult to deal with the Darkwalker. But it's actually not that hard. You just got to be aware of a few choke points, and don't be afraid of dying because it can be tricky. The way I would go about doing this is, first you have to decide where to spawn. The thing is, they actually let you choose this. Now, if you want to actually complete this, you have to remember that, for one thing, you're going to end in Ash Canyon. That's where the challenge ends. You go to this glyph thing, and you end the challenge there. Now, the thing is that what you have to remember about this challenge is that the Darkwalker moves in real time. And that means you can sleep and recover, rest and that sort of stuff. But it also means that he can catch you in a choke point. So it's often a good idea to start a spawn somewhere like Hashra Valley, Broken Railroad, or Desolation Point, because then there's one less choke for you to worry about. However, what you could also do, and which I'll probably do today, is what you can instead do is you can start in Bleak Inlet. Why? Well, because you have to go to Bleak Inlet in this challenge, and the Timberwolves will be there. However, there is a grace period in this challenge, so if you go there right away, then the Timberwolves will not spawn and they won't be much of an issue. So that's one way of going about this. Just for the record, I used to have the world record in doing this the fastest way possible, and when I did that, it was Desolation Point, and then I will go this route like this. That record has since been beaten using an improvised version of my route, but today we're not doing a speed run. We're just going to complete the challenge so that you can do this and also get the badge. So that's what we're going to do today. The thing to remember about this is that the Darkwalker, especially in the beginning, is not much of a challenge because it's quite slow, quite predictable. The laws are very effective of getting the Darkwalker to go somewhere that leads it away from you. But there are a few places where the Darkwalker could catch up to you, which is very tricky. It can in Broken Railroad, but not so much. One place people often find themselves caught is when you go from Mountain Town to Hashra Valley and then back, the Darkwalker is often in the choke between these 2 maps. It also is very often in the dam. If you end up using the transition between Mystery Lake and Pleasant Valley, the dam is another place you often get caught, as well as the mines in Desolation Point and Coastal Highway. So there are certain places where it can be tricky. Well, as long as the Darkwalker doesn't touch you and you have a lure up, you will be able to survive it, and you just gotta sprint out of there. So where do you spawn? I would say you could in theory spawn wherever you want, as long as it's not any of these 3 places, Pleasant Valley, Timberwolf Mountain, Ash Canyon. If you want the ultimate punishing experience, spawn in Ash Canyon, because that's like the worst route you could take, so why not? If you want to do that, go for it. But I would recommend Desolation Point, Broken Railroad, or Hashra Valley, or if you just want to be absolutely safe, what you can do is spawn in Bleak Inlet, which is what we're going to do. We're going to spawn here before the Timberwolves have a chance to actually spawn, so that will not be an issue at all. We're going to leave, go through Forlorn, Muskeg, Broken Railroad, Mountain Town, Hashra Valley, and then we'll go this loop back Desolation Point, up to Pleasant Valley, Timberwolf Mountain, and Ash Canyon. And that's how you should do it. And I'll explain everything I'm doing along the way. So why don't we hop to it and defeat this Darkwalker? Alright, let's hop in. Bleak Inlet, here we go. We spawn. And we're gonna go with Faithful Astrid here. Good. Banish. And now the very important thing to remember here is that when you spawn, you have 15 real life minutes before the Darkwalker spawns that you can use to get as far away as you can and not worry about the Darkwalker. Keep in mind, however, that even though it works in real time, if you were to sleep, that will speed up the clock and it can catch up to you. Also, the more of the diary pages you collect, the faster the Darkwalker becomes, but even then you should be able to outrun him. So the way this works is you have to go to all 10 pages or campfires, collect those, and then you can banish the Darkwalker. Okay, so let me explain this. So when you spawn in a fixed location, depending on the map, and you can see this timer that's counting down. When this reaches 0, the Darkwalker will appear outside of the map and start moving towards you in a straight line, heading straight towards you, ignoring any obstacle, and can instantly climb a rope, and it's catching up with you. Now, one good thing is, if you don't actually know the maps that well, don't worry. This is the one challenge where they give you a big bone, which is the tracking map. As you can see, you actually get a full map and you get an arrow showing where you are. So if you're not particularly confident in knowing where you are, don't worry, the map will tell you. It will even tell you which direction you're pointing. So you're not going to get lost this time. Now, before you start, there is some wooden stuff here. You probably won't be needing this, but there is a flare in here that we might need, so we're going to grab that. Lantern fuel might be good for starting a fire. And wherever you spawn, there will always be one diary page, and this diary page does actually not count. You should still pick it up if you want, but this is not one of the 10. This is just kind of like an introduction type of thing. Pick that up, and here's your first spray can.
Use this.
It's perfectly possible to complete this challenge without using these at all. However, if you do use them, which we probably will, they are very handy. And then you get some miscellaneous loot. You got some energy bar, water, sewing kit, won't be needing that. Coffee, great. We got a toque to warm ourselves up a bit. Oops, sorry. Is this one warmer? Probably, yeah. And I wouldn't bother repairing things. Just like with most challenges, just drop it. And a flare. And now we gotta head to the first campfire, which is down here on the bridge. And if you want, you can loot anything else here while you're at it. But I wouldn't really bother with that because it's not like you're gonna take the loot with you and, you know, survive for a long time in this challenge. You just want to complete it. You just want to go from one glyph to the other. And that's it. There isn't really anything else to it. So I would just ignore that. I generally speaking, wouldn't loot anything in this challenge other than the campfires, because there isn't really any need for it. Except maybe if it's like right in front of you, and I wouldn't bother about it. In most maps, you should be able to see where to go. In addition to your trusted map telling you where you are, you will often see the campfire in the distance. It permeates the fog, and you should be able to see it. Let's see if you can see it here. There you can see it in the distance there. And there shouldn't be any Timberwolves at all, so we don't have to worry about any of that. We're just going to head there straight away. And in fact, I'm going to use the coffee very soon, just to get some more stamina back. And one way you can do this also to maximize time, to not worry about the Darkwalker, is you loot as much as you can and get as far as you can until the timer is almost 0. And then what you do is you sleep and recover your stamina, because then it won't really make a difference in terms of the Darkwalker getting to you, because it's going to spawn outside the map anyway. So it's going to run past pretty much everything, and we're going to take advantage of the wolves not being here yet and just not being spawned.
Come on. The fire.
I'm going to head to this fire. Now while I'm running and heading there, I'll explain to you how the glyphs work. If you were to pick up here in the navigation section, go on the radial menu and click this and choose the spray paint, you'll see it will give you 3 different options. A lure, a ward, and a fog. And I'll explain to you what those are while I'm walking. Okay, so the lure, which is, or however you want to pronounce it, American or British, whatever, is the one you're really going to use. It's going to trick the Darkwalker to head towards that spray instead of you. So if you are heading in a specific direction, you can make the Darkwalker go somewhere else. So say, for example, the Darkwalker was right now on my tail, and I wanted to leave Forlorn Muskeg. I could spray a lure here, and then I would head this way, and the Darkwalker would head towards the lure instead. And it wouldn't be able to catch up with me. So the lure is basically to make the Darkwalker go somewhere that isn't where you are. It lasts for, I think, about 2 hours in game, so it's not particularly long, and if you sleep it will expire. If the Darkwalker reaches the lure, it will make this sound like as if it broke glass or something. And then you know it reaches, and when that happens, it's changing its direction, going straight towards you. The Darkwalker is blinded by the lure, so even if you put it down and then you walk straight past the Darkwalker, imagine this, the car has a Darkwalker, but I have a lure set up somewhere and it's heading straight past me. Well, I would get a lot of anxiety and I would take a lot of damage, but I wouldn't actually die. The ward will keep the Darkwalker at bay, so he can't actually attack you as long as it's within range. Before you head to the campfire, there's usually something in here. Yeah, there's a parka and matches. We don't really need those, but here we are. And all the campfires have their own wards, so the Darkwalker cannot attack you while you are inside these campfires. It lasts much longer than the regular ward. If I were to spray paint a ward, let's see. I pick this up. Ah, the ward isn't up because the Darkwalker is not up. Well, glyphs, and we're going to loot all this stuff. We got a Moosehide Satchel, another good reason to start there, although I don't think we really need this. Long Johns, Go Energy Drink, Milk, Can Opener, Milk. Yeah. If I were to spray this ward here, this campfire already has a ward, but let's say I did anyway. You see it gives me this timer. And if the Darkwalker is within 200 yards of you, it will stop walking. However, it will not stop walking if it's far away. It's only if it's close to you, so if you need a little break from it, you can put it down. Also, this is only active if you are near it, so if I leave this area behind, it will stop working altogether. The Darkwalker can still cross it, unless that's something they patched, but at least when I've done it, that's not how it works. And then finally, you have the spell fog here. This is something I haven't talked about yet, but if you look on your map while you're moving, you see here it says at the top, it says toxic fog, and it's a percentage counting up from 0 to 100. That is a timer for how long you're allowed to stay in one region. By the way, notice we now picked up 1 diary page. That was the page I found there in the campfire. So we got 1 now. Okay. Okay, so the toxic fog is that once the percentage reaches 100%, the area will be filled with the gas. Now, if you notice, the entire world is kind of foggy, and it's got this green kind of tint to it, almost like you're in the Matrix or something. But when the fog timer reaches 100, the world will be filled with toxic gas. And when that happens, you will slowly drain condition. I think it's something like 2% condition per second. So after about a minute and a half, you're dead. However, once you leave the area, you'll be fine. For the most part, even if you're walking, you should be able to have enough time to cross any region, even if you have to go through it twice. However, if you are running low on time and you feel like you're not going to be able to get through it before the fog hits, you can use the spell fog thing, and it will remove half of the progression for the fog. However, you can only use that glyph once. You cannot use it more than once. So I highly recommend you save it for when you're in a pinch, or if you are in a very large area where you know you're going to use it. I'm not going to check any of this other loot there because it's not really necessary. I'm just going to head straight on home. I'll only loot other things that I happen to come across. I'm actually going to run though, and I'll use a sprint. I might even sleep. I think you spawn with a bedroll here. Yeah, you do. So I'm probably going to sleep in the cave leading to Forlorn Muskeg, because then I can recover my stamina there. I'm just going this route, but remember, if you are here in the fog and you get lost in like, oh, where's Zac now? I'm really confused. Just click on the map and you'll see, yep, this is where you are, this is where you're going, okay? And no worries. The Dispel Fog glyph, you probably won't be needing it, but there are a few places where it could happen. For example, in Mountain Town, it could happen that you get caught and take too long getting into Hush River Valley and then back out again. So that would be one area we could possibly use it. Same with Coastal Highway, you might have to cross that twice. It all depends on which route you end up taking. So it depends, yeah. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? Oh yes, the Toxic Fog. If you were to get so that the Toxic Fog is triggered, then you won't die right away or anything. So you take damage, 2% damage per second, and eventually that kills you.
I can't feel my hands.
But the thing is that once the Toxic Fog hits, you will lose all of your food. All of this food stuff here will become ruined right away. You can't even eat it. It won't even let you eat it. Not like on Inlet or Survival, where if it's ruined you can still eat it. You just get food poisoning unless you're cooking level 5. Yeah, that's not a thing. Once it's ruined by Toxic Fog, it's gone. You can't use it. Another thing to keep in mind about the Toxic Fog is the transition areas. So, for example, if I ask you now, okay, we are in Bleak Inlet, we're going to Forlorn Muskeg, right? There's Forlorn Muskeg. And remember, there is a cave here, we're going to them now. Now, where do you think that cave is? Do you think the fog counts for Bleak Inlet or Forlorn Muskeg? Place your bets. So the correct answer should be that it counts for Bleak Inlet, because if you enter the cave it says Bleak Inlet on it. So that means that, say if you are in Forlorn Muskeg and then the timer is getting close, the Toxic Fog is coming in, and you think, oh, you know, well, it's alright, I'll go into this cave, then suddenly realize, oh, I'm still in the same region. So just remember that the timer for the fog will carry on into the cave, and it might not reset until you reach the next area. As you can see, even I'm finding this map particularly useful, because I'm talking and I'm walking around the fog, and Bleak Inlet's not a very easy area to navigate, which is another reason why it's a very good idea to start here, because it's not the easiest one to navigate. You have time to look at your map and see where you are. You can avoid the Timberwolves. It's an area that is kind of like, it's kind of one way, not exactly one way, but kind of. So yeah. And now we're entering in here, and we'll warm up with this, and then I'm going to sleep before I exit this cave. Alright, let's use one of these flares. And we can loot the coal and stuff, but we won't be needing it. It's I don't recall ever starting a fire in this challenge, outside of using the campfires that you find. So I don't think that'll be necessary. But if you see any other loot that seems useful, you can of course pick that up. So we're just going to head through this cave, and as you can see, I'm not sure if it'll tell me actually. No, I don't think. But if you look on the map, see, it still says Bleak Inlet and 32%. So the timer for the fog is still active, because this particular cave I'm in counts as a Bleak Inlet cave. Okay. Then I'm going to go over here. Here there is a flare, which I probably will not be needing, especially because Black Rock's not in this challenge, but nevertheless. And then we'll go through here. You can see if Barry's home. Not Barry, my bad, Larry. Larry is the indoor rabbit. Go Larry. I don't think that he is usually homed up with Darkwalker, but we can see. Larry is the only indoor rabbit in the game. And what I want to do now is that if I have time, I would like to sleep before the timer reaches 0, so that I'm sleeping into when the Darkwalker triggers, so that when I wake up, he has already arrived. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I might as well eat something. Hopefully I won't get food poisoning, but it's quite low difficulty, so even if I did, it will be cured pretty easily. So it should be fine. So I'm just going to eat this. We can also have a little drink. And then I'll sleep before this timer reaches 0. I don't think it makes a big difference, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'll sleep for 10 hours, and when I wake up, the Darkwalker will be here. So you heard it, like a doom. That means the Darkwalker's coming. And now the atmosphere will change. The ambience is different. You can hear him. Hear it? We hear those footsteps, faint footsteps in the dark. Listen close. And this is airy music. It's all scary. Now, fortunately, we only have one page, so it's quite far away. The closer the Darkwalker is, the more noise he makes, and the more tense the music gets, which you can turn off, by the way, if you want to. And you'll hear him clearer and clearer. So the audio gives an indication to how far away the Darkwalker is. Now we need to go and get to the other campfires. We need to go Hush River Valley, the mountain town up here. Ravine doesn't have one. Crumbling Highway doesn't have one. Winding River doesn't have one. We're not going to go there anyway. Forlorn Muskeg is next. We're going to go there. Timberwolf Mountain has one. We'll take that on the way out. That's the last one. Desolation Point has one. Pretty much all of the zones have one. And we're going to have to go through them. Broken Railroad is fortunately not too far in. So yeah, that's where we got to go. So now you get this sense of urgency. It's kind of scary, isn't it? But we should be fine. Let's leave the cave. And now we enter the new area. And the weather will never change. It will always be like this. Right? You can hear him. Can you hear the footsteps? Boom. He's coming closer. Closer. He's somewhere outside the map. Walking. Boom. Boom. Boom towards me. Now what we can do, I'm going to head in a straight line here, so this will not actually make a difference. Just to illustrate, I can place a lure. So what happens now is that the Darkwalker is not going to head towards me. He's instead going to head towards this lure here. And this also will give me an indication of where the Darkwalker is. Because let's say that I now reach the campfire and then I hear, boom, the lure is destroyed. Then I know the Darkwalker is right there. You can hear it's quite loud, so he's probably fairly close because I was sleeping. I wouldn't worry too much about sleeping. I would only not sleep if you are stuck in a corner. So for example, if you are in Desolation Point and you sleep, or in Broken Railroad, it might be a little bit risky, because if I were to sleep now in the open, for example, let's just say I did that and survived, then the Darkwalker might catch up to me. He won't kill me in my sleep, but he might catch up to me. But if I wake up, then I can just run forward to my destination, and it won't be an issue. However, if I'm in a corner and I need to get out of that corner, and then I sleep, it's much harder to circumvent the Darkwalker. It might still happen to us, so we'll see how we deal with this. But generally speaking, I would try to only sleep. I would try to only sleep if you are in a position where it's safe to wake up and then continue in a forward line. That's what I would do. Because if you do it in some sort of cornered position, you're making it easier for the Darkwalker to catch you. So just be careful with that. I'm gonna go this way. Should be able to run across there. A little bit close, but you can also go this way here. Just go on that way, over there, over there, over there, and you'll be fine. So it's perfectly fine to sleep in this challenge. Just be aware that you should do it in a position where you have a way out. If you go to sleep, you have to think to yourself, if the Darkwalker appears right now when I wake up, can I get out of it? If the answer is no, you shouldn't sleep. But if the answer is yes, then you can. Okay, and I think this is where you get the bedroll, and you get the bear bed. So yeah, that's the thing about sleeping in this challenge. The Darkwalker will not kill you in your sleep. If the Darkwalker gets within 200 meters of you, you cannot sleep. And if you're already sleeping, the Darkwalker will wake you up. Okay, so you cannot die in your sleep from the Darkwalker. As you can see, the lore is still up, so the Darkwalker has not progressed to the cave. Oh, there he is. Boom. Okay, see, so the Darkwalker now destroyed my lure, which I placed here. So I now know the Darkwalker is right there, and he's now coming towards me. But I have the ward of this particular fire, so that's going to keep him away. He's not going to be able to reach me. I might actually make some water or something like that if I want to, because it allows for better coffee building and that sort of stuff. Now in here, let's check the trunk. We got the bearskin bedroll, which will make things easier for sleeping. Some food and flares. So we're gonna actually dump the other bedroll. Don't need that anymore. Like this. I think I got some socks. Yeah. We'll take this. We'll take that. I'm gonna wait to pick up this page until after I made these this water here. Remember, it's real time, not in-game time. So me passing time like this does not affect how far the Darkwalker is progressing. Yeah, and now I can have a drink. And now I'm going to take the diary page, and then I'm going to keep moving. And now he's going fast. Now we need to get to Broken Railroad, and that's one of our first chokes. And the Darkwalker could catch up to us, but if he does, it's a good example of using the glyphs. So I'll show how that works. So there you can see now the Darkwalker is catching up, and now we have another good excuse to use the lure. So if you look now, like we're on the railroad tracks, we're gonna head straight west, but the Darkwalker is around here somewhere. So if I now head straight west, the Darkwalker is gonna change his trajectory and go like this, and try and catch up with me, right? But if I place a lure here, the Darkwalker has to go all the way up here, and then to the left. So I'm making a detour for him. So we can place a lure right down. And then we can keep going. And I'm probably going to drink a coffee because I don't think I'm going to sleep in Desolation Point. I do have a Go Energy drink, which you got there, which you can use to climb up to Mountain Town if necessary. But I don't think it'll be necessary because we can sleep in the cave leading to Mountain Town. It's not a big deal. So now we're just going to head straight to Broken Rail. This is one of our first chokes, one of the first dead ends, where it's much easier for the Darkwalker to catch up. But trust me, no matter how close the Darkwalker gets, you can always escape. Unless you have very low health, and maybe you have a wolf on you in addition, and you have no sprint, then maybe it could catch up to you. But other than that, I wouldn't really worry about it. You should be able to escape the Darkwalker. The way it works is if the Darkwalker gets within 200 meters of you, then you cannot sleep or rest. I don't think you can pass time either. So it's not possible to have a break. So if you get fatigued and the Darkwalker catches up to you, that's not a good sign. If he gets within 50 meters of you, then you get fear. So 200 meters gives you an affliction called anxiety, so you can't rest. But if he gets within 50 meters of you, you get an affliction called fear, and now you start taking damage. Think of it as kind of like panic, and you start draining health doing it. So that's how it works in terms of the Darkwalker damaging you. If he reaches you, which is usually that it's roughly within 5 meters of you, then you'll die. You'll instantly die. You cannot kill it unless you banish the Darkwalker. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the train crash. This law might not expire. It will stay in real time, so if I enter Broken Railroad and come back, the law can still be there, but I don't think it's frozen while I'm in there, so I think it will expire. So that's okay. A general thing you might also do is if you're going to sleep, it is an idea to put a ward down whenever you sleep. You don't really need to do it because the Darkwalker will wake you up regardless if it's close enough. But if the Darkwalker was closer than you thought it was, the ward will keep him a bit further away when you sleep. Don't worry too much about the spray cans, because you will find a spray can at, I believe, every single campfire, which gives you, and each can gives you, I think it's 4 sprays. So it shouldn't be particularly hard to find enough of those. If you do want to loot the rest of the world, you will find more of them. You can find more of these spray cans all over the place. The first time I did this, when it was the Halloween event, I spawned in... Where did I spawn? I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was Desolation Point. I can't remember. But anyway, I looted the entire area before the Darkwalker appeared. And I got a bunch of them. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, okay, now we came from the east here to the right. And remember in Forlorn Muskeg, let me find it, which is alphabetical. We also came in this direction, right? So you might think that now the Darkwalker is somewhere here, right? And therefore, if we go to Broken Railroad, the Darkwalker is also here. But not necessarily. The configurations of the area does not necessarily align with each other. So even though you might think now the Darkwalker is somewhere over here, it could be up here or something like that. So don't let that fool you. So what we're going to do is, I could put a lure here, but I'd rather not, because if I lure him over here, he's blocking my exit. And then he might come here by the time I'm over there, in which case it's making the whole thing a bit awkward. Instead I'm going to place one at a position that is more of an angle, so that if I do run into him, then he can be circumvented. He will not approach me at the right angle. So I would rather position a lure somewhere like over here or something like that, because then if you were to meet, it's not going to have the same impact, if you want to call it that. Okay, so don't worry about this challenge. It's unique, it's scary, it's a scary challenge. And it's okay to be scared doing it, because you gotta give it to the sound design people. Because the Long Dark is all about sounds already. It's all about capturing the sounds of the environment. And here, they have very unique sounds with this airy kind of uneasy feeling of the Darkwalker, and the steps and the noise. It feels very, inhuman. It's unsettling. The whole challenge is very unsettling. So a lot of people are more afraid than they should be in this challenge. But the way you gotta think about it is just think of the Darkwalker as the old bear. The old bear is coming for you. You kill the old bear, and the ghost of the old bear is coming for you. And you can't fight him off. But he's predictable, right? You can control where he is. Remember this shortcut here? You can always... I'm stuck. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong button on my keyboard. Oops. I was wondering what's happening. I was clicking the wrong button. This is a shortcut over the landslide that you can just do. Just walk over it like this. Really, really not hard. You don't have to go all the way around. But if you wanted to go all the way around down there and cross this bridge that's over there, that's fine, you can do that too. But you don't need to. I got the wind straight against me now, which is very annoying, but it's okay. And hopefully there aren't any wolves, because I haven't got any weapons. You will eventually get the revolver. The revolver is found in, I think it's Hushra Valley. You see the spawn of items at the campfires are always fixed. They're always the same. So you don't have to use the route I said. You can use whatever route you want. But I highly recommend you always spawn in Bleak Inlet, or in Broken Railroad, or Hushra Valley, or Desolation Point. Which choose, it depends how comfortable you are with Timberwolves and all that stuff. But the campfires that we're heading to now, like this campfire here, they all have predetermined loot. They are always the same, it's like a guaranteed thing. The rest of the world could have semi-random loot, but the campfires always have the same loot. And if you want to, you can look them up on the Long Dark Wikipedia, for example.
It's a goddamn
and
freezing.
It will tell you the loot that's on these campfires. And you can plan it accordingly. If you think the wolves are a bit of a pain, you can spawn in Hushra Valley, where I'm pretty sure the revolver is. And then you can just go from there with the revolver. There's a flare gun somewhere, I can't remember exactly where that is. But, so there's all this predetermined loot. I'm just looting this guy because he's right in front of me.
This will come in handy.
That's probably better than... Oh, it's lighter though. No, it's not. It's worse. So you can also do that if you like. If you want, you can look up where the loot is and plan your route accordingly. But as I said, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Even cold is not that much of an issue. You warm at the campfire, for example. So it shouldn't be too big a deal. When I do this challenge, I usually don't bother going anywhere else but the campfires. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, with this particular campfire, by the way, I'm just holding a flare in case a wolf shows up, because I think the wolves can... I think we're approaching the end of the grace period. I'm not sure if they spawned yet, but we're getting close. Anyway, the campfire here, you can see on the map, it's right here, but this is actually above the maintenance yard. So you don't... There you can see it. You don't want to go down there. If you go down here, you won't actually get there. You need to go around and over the ledges. So you want to go over here, and then around this little mountainside here, and then you can access it. Alright, we can sprint a bit, I think. I haven't sprinted much. The wind has been really not in my favor. Okay, so here we are. If you want, you can check this, but you don't really need it. Now we are here at this little crossroads, and you want to go up here to the right. See? So here's the train, there's the bridge, there's a path there. You want to go to the right, up here. Through the trees, if you can. Guess you can't. Okay, now you will come above the campfire, and you can go down it. And here it is. If you go to maintenance yard, you can't actually get up there. Alright, so we're going to warm up here. Remember, it's real time, so the Darkwalker doesn't really catch up unless I sleep. And here again, we have another energy drink, which is handy for climbing. We have pork and beans, we have another spray paint, and we get a cache. Revolver, rifle, flare shell, lots of ammunition, but no weapons. And I often wait to pick up the diary page until I leave, because the Darkwalker gets faster and faster for each page you pick up. But just please remember to pick them up, because it's so easy to forget. And it has happened to me. I've done this challenge, and suddenly I get to the 5th fire, and I realize, hold on, I only have 4 pages, and I realize I forgot one somewhere. Now I'm gonna, how much water do I have? I have quite a bit, so I don't really need any of that stuff. What I might do is I might cook these, because then they also give me heat. So, and I found a can opener earlier, so I'm just going to cook these. You don't have to worry too much about food in this challenge. It's not particularly hard. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for that to pass. I want to get all my heat back. You can do like this, and you can reset the timer. I'm just waiting for this to get warmer. Okay, so now we're gonna head to Mountain Town and then Hush River Valley, and this is a choke point. This can be tricky, but if you get caught, I'll show you what to do. After that, it becomes significantly easier. You're going kind of like in a straight line, all the way to Desolation Point. So once you're out of, not out of Hush River, but once you're out of Mountain Town, you will not have a problem with the Darkwalker again for a long time, because he's going to trail behind you all the way to Desolation Point. But when you get Desolation Point, you could encounter him on the way out to Desolation Point, so you gotta be prepared for that one. But I'll show you how that works. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick these up, and I'm going to place a lure, because if the Darkwalker is close now, he will now head to this area instead. I'm going to drop this, don't need it. And I'm going to see what I did there? I almost forgot to pick up the damn page, so if you're not sure about that, just pick up the page right away. Alright, let's pick this up. Boom, got three pages now. Now we're going to head out of here. And it's going to head straight. Okay. I don't think the wolves have spawned yet, so don't worry too much about it. I'm just taking this route back now, but you can take whichever route you want. It doesn't make any difference. You just walk back where you came from. It's taking a slightly faster route though. I always carry one stick just in case I do need an emergency fire. And now I'm gonna get out of here. And then I'm going to head to Mountain Town. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to sleep in the cave that is next to the exit in Mountain Town. If the weather's good enough, like now it's only -4, and this gives me +12, I could sleep outside if I wanted to. We are now heading kind of towards the Darkwalker, because he's going to be in front of us, but he's going to be a little bit to the side also. In fact, where I positioned the lure was a little bit stupid. I should have positioned the lure down here, because if the Darkwalker is in front of me now, he's going to head this way and hit me. But I think he's probably somewhere like here, so he should be okay. But even if that was a bad lure, if I were to see the Darkwalker now, it will actually be a good example of how it works. Because he's not going to be able to kill me with the lure up.
Been so hungry in my life.
From the sound of it, sounds like he's probably somewhere here, I think. I don't think he's going to reach the lure. I don't think so. He's not fast enough to reach it. The lure will expire in game time, so you can't sleep while... if you sleep, it will just expire. Okay, I'm trying to listen where the Darkwalker is. It sounds like he's in front of me. I can't actually hear him anymore. Maybe he went past me. Maybe he's like here, heading towards the lure now. It's possible. Yeah. It's unusually quiet. I can't hear the Darkwalker. 12 minutes to the toxic fog. Alright. Oh, I can hear him again. Sounds like he's there. I don't know. Well, I said this was our first dead end. One of 3. You will always have at least 2 dead ends. If you start in Broken Railroad, Desolation Point, or Hashira Valley, then you only have 2 because you will be free of 1. But Bleak Inlet's kind of like a dead end because you have to go in and out, but you have multiple options of going in and out. It's just be easier. It's gonna wait to eat that thing. Alright. I can hear him, but it's hard to tell where he is. He hasn't gotten the lore yet, so I don't think he's anywhere near me, to be honest. It's hard to say. But it sounds like it's somewhere here. It's hard to say. He's not heading towards me though, so. But once this lure expires, he will be heading towards me. Okay, now before I enter the next region, I'm just going to tell you that there is a shortcut you can use. I'm not going to do the shortcut because no one likes this sort of thing. But if you go to Forlorn Muskeg, we now need to go to this exit here. And it's possible to go up this way and then climb. There's a few ledges here you can access, and then you can climb up straight. We're not going to do that just because a lot of people don't like that sort of stuff. So we're just going to take the normal route around this way instead. Okay. He really sounds like he's in front of me. Maybe he was that far behind. In any case, this lure is about to expire, so we're going to go here. And we're going to again try and trick the Darkwalker. We're immediately going to place a lure down here to make him walk towards this position and away from us. And he sounds close. You can hear the footsteps. Do you hear it? If you can hear the footsteps, then he's close. He's close. Yeah. He's over there somewhere now. And this is actually one of these transition areas where you might be able to get within range of the Darkwalker because of the nature of where you have to go to actually do this. So I'm not going to use the shortcut back up. If you are interested in seeing how that shortcut works, you can check out my speedrun for this challenge, or you can watch my Nogoa series. Both of them use that shortcut. I'm not going to use it now. I can hear he's very close. Sleeping now will be a little bit of a risk, but we can outrun him using the go drinks that we found. So we have 2 of those. So we can use those to climb a rope. Stim would be better, but we don't have one. But if he catches up to us, we should be able to keep him at bay. And it might even be a good example of how to do that. So, okay. Let's run as far as we can. I still haven't seen any wolves. I think the grace period is still ongoing. So we're going to walk around here. And I think he's going to actually get to the lure. He sounds very close, but he's heading away from us now because I think the Darkwalker when we entered was around somewhere here, I think. And now he's somewhere here. He's going to catch the lure for sure. Let's just see here. Okay, now it's getting quiet, so now he's quite far away. Oh, further away than before.
Anything right now.
We're just gonna head up there, and we can use the cave to get through this section. But whenever you enter an indoor location like a cave, it sometimes bugs out the Darkwalker and it makes him teleport into that cave, which isn't too great. I much prefer it when he's far further away. It's quite warm, so we might be able to sleep outside, but we'll see. So we're gonna head up here, and we'll sleep as long as we can, and then we'll use the gold rings for whoever's left. Okay, so there's two ways to get to what is it called? Edge March or March Ridge? I can never remember what it's called. One is through the cave that's up here on the right, or the other one is to the left here. We're going to take the left path to have a better control of where the Darkwalker is. We're going to sleep in the cave though. But yeah, basically what I'm going to do is going to hug left here, and then we're unfortunately heading back towards the Darkwalker. And if I'm not comfortable, there is another way we can do it. You see it. So you got the lure, see? And in fact, I'm going to place a new lure because of that. Place it over here. So now he's going to head diagonally towards me. And we're going to head up here. And I think we're actually going to sleep in Mountain Town instead of in this cave, like I said, because it's a little bit risky to sleep here now. Because if I do, he's going to come straight towards me. So now he's going to be going, he is now here, he's going to go like this. As you see, it's very close to our exit, but we should be able to avoid him nonetheless. I think actually I will not sleep in the cave like I said, because it's too risky. So what I initially planned was to sleep in this cave that's over here. I'll show you which cave I'm talking about. I can run a little bit, I think. So on the right over here is a cave in here. So we could sleep there. Problem is that it's really, really close to the Darkwalker, so I think it's a little bit uncomfortable. We're instead going to go up here and sleep in a cave in Mountain Town. Or if this was you and the dark was right on your tail, you could use the gold rings instead. I also want to check this. It's one of the few places I want to check that is not one of the campfires. Just because sometimes you can find like a stim and stuff here.
This stuff will come in handy.
Take that. Anything else? Beaches. Yeah. Nothing really of use, but I always like to check that. It's right there anyway. So then we're going to go, I think we're going to skip on sleeping. And we're going to sleep in Mountain Town instead, because it's a little bit safer. Because we can keep the Darkwalker at bay a little bit easier there, I think. So we're going to climb. You can also sleep in increments. You can sleep a little bit here, a little bit there. You know, it's not a big deal. Now, if the Darkwalker, when you enter a new zone, the Darkwalker is not necessarily right behind you. He teleports to wherever the equivalent position is in that zone, but he keeps your distance. So if he's right behind you, if there's 100 meters behind you and enter a new zone, he'll be 100 meters behind you in that zone too. So you can't kind of like trick it between zones. Okay, so here we are. And then what we're going to do is... He's going to be fairly close, but not super close.
Okay, Bleak.
So what we're going to do is... Yeah, he's heading towards me. So I'm going to place another lure here, which this lure is not going to do particularly much. It's just literally just getting him to go in a slightly different direction than where I'm heading. One thing to keep in mind here is there's a moose spawn over there in the birch forest, and if the moose is there, it makes things a little bit more complicated because you have to get past the moose. That's a little bit, whoops. Well, we'll see. Okay. So we're gonna head into this cave that's here. It's the wolves. No, the deer is there. So there's a cave here. This is the Milton Basin. Great place to practice survival, by the way, if you'd like to practice your skills. Because here in this one basin, there's one cave, there's a moose spawn, there's deer spawn, there's wolves around, rabbits, there's everything except a bear. And but there's also a little bit of birch, there's cattails, so this is a good area to sort of just stay in if you want to practice surviving in one place for a long time. So what we're going to do now, we're going to sleep in this cave. And what's likely going to happen is that the Darkwalker is going to catch up with us. Because the Darkwalker, he moves in real time. But the problem is that whenever you sleep, he speeds up. I'm sure there's like an equation for that. I'm not sure how much he speeds up, but when you sleep, he can catch up to you. But he's not going to kill you in your sleep. He's going to wake you up in your sleep. And he's going to, and then you know you have to move and everything. So we're going to sleep in here where it's warm. And let's just eat something so that we are not going to starve ourselves. So let's just eat this. That should be plenty. We can also eat, I guess. I'm not too worried about food poisoning because this is a low difficulty. So even if I get food poisoning, I can just, I'll survive it just by passing time. It shouldn't be an issue. I don't need to carry this. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we don't need this either. Now I'm going to sleep. I'm going to put down for 12 hours. But I'm most likely not going to be able to sleep for 12 hours. So let's just do that. Boom. And we'll wake up and he'll probably be on us. Let's see. Ooh, he's not on us. He's not. But he's very close. But now we can sprint. You can hear the footsteps, right? You can hear him. Boom, boom, boom. So now we gotta head to the rope. And in fact, we can use a lure, which isn't necessary, but it's literally just to keep track of where he is. Then I know how far away he is. Because the thing is that the really dangerous thing here, this is the biggest threat to the challenge is right here. Because you have to climb the rope and the Darkwalker doesn't have to do it. So that's something that's a bit scary. You know? You can place a ward down and the ward will hold the Darkwalker in place. But once you start climbing, you will only climb a few feet and then the Darkwalker is active again. And now you can hear the footsteps, you can hear boom, boom, boom. So the Darkwalker is close. It's not too close, but it's not far, not far. And he's going to head straight towards me afterwards. Okay. So this is one of those crossings that is a little bit tricky. And in fact, if you choose to spawn in Hashtaru Valley instead, then you kind of avoid all of this because you can climb down these ropes instead of up, which will make the whole thing much, much easier. So that is one way of avoiding that issue entirely. And we're also going to have another issue when we come out of Hashtaru Valley, but we should be okay to escape it. So we're going to climb up this rope. We are fully rested, this is why I slept, but if I hadn't done this, I would have probably slept for the first convenience and used the go drink instead. It is important to try and get some sleep when you can, just to recover your fatigue meter so you can sprint more. You don't need to sprint more because you want to do this as fast as possible, you just want to sprint more so that you are able to outrun the Darkwalker if necessary. Now fortunately this should be fine. As you can see, I was able to sleep full 12 hours. I'm a little bit surprised by that, so he must have been a little bit further away than I thought. Also, we only collected 3 pages, so he's a bit slower than usual. And he sounded very, very close when I woke up. And my lure right now is here, but he hasn't actually got it yet, so he is quite far away. He's pretty far. So we can definitely manage this without stressing too much. We can do this in one go, but I think I'll have a light breather here, seeing as we got time. And I'll sleep again in the church, probably. Oh, he got the lure, see? Yeah, no, I don't think we need to use another lure, because where we're going is so close in like a straight line that it won't make any real difference. Okay, so now we know exactly where he is. He is close. And this is, getting to Hashtaru Valley now is pretty easy. But one of the hardest parts of this challenge is if you do not spawn in Hushed River Valley, the transition back from Hushed River Valley into Mountain Town can be quite brutal because you have a very narrow place to escape from him. So getting to Hushed River Valley and back can be a little bit tricky. We're not going to place another lure because we don't really need it. We could put a ward down, but we don't really need it. Now, some people seem to have mixed opinions about the wards. I heard some people say that the wards will stop the Darkwalker wherever he is. That's not been my experience. I've had the Darkwalker being close, and then I placed the ward, and then he still caught up with me. So I'm not 100% sure of the details on that, but the way at least I use it is that if he is within 200 meters of you and you place the ward, he stops. He stops completely. You can't really do much during that time, but you can take the moment to recover and plan and think what you're going to do. You know, recover your sprint or whatever. That's why I use it for. But I think the wards around the campfire stops him completely. I kind of always get the impression that whenever you enter the ward of the green campfire, he just stops completely. I've never ever had the Darkwalker catch up with me when I've been around the campfire, but I have had him catch up with me in a regular ward. That has happened. Okay, so here we are. There's an extra backpack here too. And here we have another diary page. And this time I'm actually going to loot it right away, because I'm just going to forget otherwise. Let's see what goodies we got here. We got Firestriker. Probably won't be needing that. We got Syrup. That's good. Fisherman Sweater. That could be handy. A Lantern. That will be handy when we get into Hushed River Valley. We don't need this anymore. We can drop that. Make sure you drop anything you don't think you're going to need. I don't think I'm going to use the rifle ammo for anything, but we can keep it, I guess. I guess we'll keep it. I don't know if I need this, but we can keep it for now. Okay, let's warm up a little bit. And then we're still going to head in a straight line-ish. Not quite. We're going to go to the church and sleep there. So I think we'll just run there and then we can put up a lure in there. Because it's a pretty straight line. I don't think placing a lure is going to actually achieve anything. We're going to head to the stone church, and we're going to sleep in that church. We could sleep here in the farm, catch up on our stamina a little bit, but we got to look for the key and everything. The good thing about the church is it's almost in a straight line from the Darkwalker and its position now, so it has to go in a pretty straight line. So let's see, yeah, it's like here, straight ahead of me now. So I'm gonna head there. So it's a scary challenge. This is a scary challenge, but it's not too hard once you know the mechanics of it. Just don't bother looting much. Just go from campfire to campfire. Try and find somewhere tactical to sleep. But even if you don't sleep, you can still do it in one go. It's just that it's a little bit harder. But you need to find good places to sleep. So you can recover some energy. The wolves are up. We have flares, so that should be fine. And the biggest challenge of all is the choke points, where the Darkwalker can corner you. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to sleep in here to try and recover a little bit of stamina. Alright, so we're going to sleep in here. I can quickly check for loot, but there's nothing we really need. I guess you can grab that, and that's about it, I suppose. Then what we're going to do is we're going to sleep here to recover some stamina. But we're approaching the next checkpoint, and we need to get some rest here. Let's also just have this. And it's very likely, I think, that the Darkwalker will catch up with us while we sleep, but if he does, it's okay. Oh, where did that go? Let's see here. Yeah, okay, so we'll sleep for 12 hours. And we'll just see if the Darkwalker catches up or not. There'll be a noise like boom, like a... And here he is, yeah, it's close. But it didn't actually catch up with us, which is nice. But it's close. So we're gonna head out, and we're gonna head to Pleasant Valley now.
I need to find food.
And I'm gonna put a lure down, just to get a feel for how far away he is. Now the campfire here in Pleasant Valley isn't in Pleasant Valley. Hashra Valley is not particularly difficult to do, but getting out of it can be tricky. How are we doing with fog? Ready too. Okay. The fog also can be a little bit of an issue here in Mountain Town, but we'll see. I'm gonna avoid running as much as I can because I need to get to the rope with some energy. Although I do have the go drinks, so it's not the end of the world. Sleeping is kind of like a little bit of a tricky thing in this challenge, just because you kind of need the stamina to be able to run from the Darkwalker and climb some ropes. However, after we get out of Mystery Lake, there aren't really any ropes left. We have to climb one rope into Timberwolf Mountain, but once we are out of Mystery Lake, that's the only rope left to climb. All the other ones are just straightforward. But there's a few chokes still that can be a bit tricky, so we gotta be a bit careful. So I'm gonna walk for now, just to save energy. But if you do find yourself in a pinch, you can use the go drinks. Some campfires also have emergency stims, which will make it a bit easier too. Okay. By the way, if my voice sounds slightly different than it's a minute ago, I'm recording this in 2 segments, and I just now started segment 2. I logged off and then I logged on again a bit later, and my throat started hurting, so if my voice is a little bit crackly, then that's why. Okay, so we're gonna head straight to the cave to Hashra Valley. Again, remember you have your map if you're not sure where to go. They're very kind that way, especially because it's foggy. The weather will never change. Like you can get more visibility. Like the fog can lift, but there'll always be some reduced visibility, and the only thing that really changes is the wind. It'll always be night as well. I think, though, if I remember correctly, I think the more diary pages you get, the foggier it gets. I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay, so the Darkwalker is further away than I thought, because I put it down there and he still hasn't got it, but I don't think he's too far away. And then we're going to enter the cave, which I think this cave counts as Mountain Town, I believe. So we gotta be a little bit careful with the fog in this one. I usually don't use the spell fog glyph when I do Darkwalker, but when I do, it's usually in a zone I have to enter twice, like this one, where it might be necessary. We'll have to see. Okay, you got the lore. So now I know where he is. It's not that far away. And I believe this is still... Yeah, this is still Mountain Town. And I might want to run a little bit here just to get through this cave faster, because the caves are always a bit tricky with the Darkwalker. So in here, in this case, I'm going to run a bit. I believe it's this way. And this way. There we are. And then I'm going to place a lure here by the, not quite by the entrance, but a little bit further down. Because if I place it here and my timing, you could just place it here to get him to move where you were right away. But the issue is that if you do that and the timing is very unlucky, you could end up sending the Darkwalker to exactly where the cave entrance is and block you. So I'm instead going to send it over here. Oh, here we can put it. Just to keep him like a little bit out of harm's way. Let's put this down, get him to go this way. And then we are going to go to the campfire that's over here. It's actually pretty easy to get there. And then we get the revolver, so you don't have to worry about predators either. We'll see, I maybe have to use the gold thing. Do I have coffee? I think I do have one coffee, yeah.
My God, too soon.
We're gonna keep going now, see how far we can get the Darkwalker to go, and if he reaches that while I'm down there, then I can place another lure, and then what's going to happen is that we're going to cross paths going back, because this is also a bit of a dead end where you go out and then you get the campfire and have to go back out at the same time. So this region here, Hashtra Valley, is also a very good region to start the challenge in if you are okay with Timberwolves. If you start here and then make your way down to Bleak Inlet afterwards, you might be lucky and the Timberwolves haven't triggered. But you might also be unlucky and they are there, in which case you need to deal with the Timberwolves. Bleak Inlet is the best place to start if you are feeling a little bit, insecure about the maps and you don't like Timberwolves and you tend to play this game more casually, Pilgrim Voyage, that sort of thing, then maybe Bleak Inlet is the best place for you to start. However, if you don't mind the Timberwolves and don't mind going back later in order to, when you have the flare gun or something like that, then you could always start in Hashtra Valley or Broken Railroad or somewhere like that. Although I think of all of those, Hashtra Valley is the best to start in because there's quite a few ropes and that sort of thing. Now there can be a bear as well. Let's just head down here, a little shortcut. How do I have any bandages? I do. Okay. There's the bear. So try not to get attacked by the bear. That would be bad. He might aggro me, but he'll give up eventually. Yeah, he's detected me, I think, but he's not aggroed on me. No. And even if he was, when I go down the rope, he's not gonna follow me anymore. I'm gonna grab one of these in case. Yeah. Let's actually do this too. The Darkwalker is quite far away in this region because he still has not gotten to the lure, so he's quite far away. And there is even an argument here for not placing a lure when you come out. Just place one when you get to the campfire instead, because then he's less likely to go in a direct line towards you. So there's multiple ways to complete this challenge.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
And I must admit, I never sat down to science exactly how the Darkwalker works in terms of where he spawns and what the perfect diagonal lines are in terms of where to place lures and that sort of thing. But I have never died to the Darkwalker, not once, so I don't think it's necessary to know those details. As long as the challenge is completed, it's fine. Okay, now we're going to head down here. You can, of course, goat down if you like, but it's not necessary. Let's head down. And maybe we'll sleep a bit here too, by the campfire, just to get some more energy. Because the campfire will burn at least 3 hours. It says infinite on the campfire, but it's not infinite. It expires when the wood expires. Alright. Darkwalker still has not reached the lure, so it's quite far away. So I think actually we could have a little sleep down here too. Just to recover a little bit more stamina. And then load the Darkwalker this way. He's going to head towards us anyway. If you're extremely unlucky, then when you get here, there's a moose spawn here. But I've never had that happen. But in theory, it could happen. I don't see any markings, so. If that happened, it would be bad. Okay. So here's the, is it the fifth, is it? Fifth diary page. By the Rainbow Waterfall. And considering how far away the Darkwalker is, I mean, I placed a lure over, where is it? Over here, and he still has not reached it. So I think we are pretty good. We can actually sleep here. If not, if you're in this situation and you can't sleep here, I think I would just head back to the rope and use one of these gold rings, of which we have so many now. Okay, grab that. See what we got in here. We got the revolver, we got a stim, and an air wrap. So now we are golden. Might as well do this. For the wolves. Unexpired. Okay, and then I think, how am I doing with water? I think I'm actually going to make a little bit of water here. And I have these tablets, don't I? Yeah. So I'm actually going to do this. Grab that. Do this. Use one of these. It's just so I can sleep without having to worry about it. Although with stims and gold rings, it's not necessary. But I want to go to sleep somewhere while I'm in a place where I can control where the Darkwalker is to a much greater extent. So I'm going to sleep here by this campfire. Even if the campfire goes out while I'm sleeping, it shouldn't be an issue because we have the bear bedroll. So that should not be a problem. We actually have well fed soon, don't we? I think. Okay, so we're going to sleep here. Just to recover some more stamina. I'm going to sleep 7 hours. The fire will probably go out. That's okay. Alright. And we have 5. Next one is Mystery Lake. Okay, so we're going to spray a lure. And let me just think a bit. We're here. We're going to go that way. I think we want to spray it a bit more up here. Over here, maybe. So he's going to head here now. So now there is a possibility that we'll cross paths with the Darkwalker. Because the Darkwalker is going to head from a straight line. Oh, there is a moose marking. So a moose could spawn here. The Darkwalker is probably, if I had to guess, it's someone like, probably someone like here, probably. So we might be approaching the Darkwalker now, but if we do, it's going to walk past us. And now we got to be a little bit careful because the bear might be in our way, and we got to go back up the same way we came. We can't do the shortcuts back up. I mean, we can, but we just want to walk back up there. The usual route. Just a disclaimer, if you haven't noticed already, but for this particular walkthrough, I am doing as much as I can these sort of normal routes. I'm not doing any kind of shortcuts or specific out of bounds other than the ones that are very, very easy. Because if you're watching this, and I assume that the level is very varied, some of you are very experienced and you can just barely go down here, for example. Others are more inexperienced or uncertain of their ability to do that sort of stuff. So for this walkthrough, I'm not showing any of these crazy shortcuts. I'm mostly doing the normal routes, like the way you would go in the game without cheesing and going out of bounds. So that's why I've deliberately taken some detours, like in Forlorn Muskeg and other places. I've deliberately have been taking the longer route around, which is the normal route in the terrain, and that's just because that's more what a regular player would do. Okay. Let's climb up. So you can hear the Darkwalker is close. He's coming close. He's actually going towards us now, and we're going towards him. Because he's crossing paths with us now. And he's heading towards us. I think it's a he, but I guess it's an it, to be fair. Anyway. And then So now Darkwalker is probably somewhere like here. So he's in our way. We're gonna drink this. You can hear him now. He's heading towards the lure. He's somewhere over there. We most likely are going to get within proximity of the Darkwalker. And when that happens, we get anxiety. He's over there somewhere. And then we can't sleep. We can run though and everything, but we can't sleep. Yeah, he's over there somewhere now. Very, very close. You can hear the footsteps. Yeah, let's run a bit. Because we need to outrun this lure. We can climb if you want. If you have a stim, what you could do now is you go to this rope here, use a stim, and climb right up it. And then you will outrun the Darkwalker. Oh, see, here he is. He's to my right now. So now I get the affliction anxiety. It's gone already. Which means I cannot rest. So the Darkwalker right now is about here, heading towards my lure. You can get up this way. That's like a little shortcut. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do the usual route. Also, then you don't have to fiddle. So just go around here. And here's a little cave. This is actually the bear cave. You want to go there. And then you want to go up this way. I think it's a bit further. It's a bit further. Oh, damn. Oh god, not now, bear, come on. Where's possible timing, huh? Ah, god. That was unfortunate. Okay, well, these things happen. At least it's entertainment value, right? If I had the flare gun, this would not have happened, but well. I would restart, but it's not necessary. We're just gonna have to outlive this. The only thing I have to get past this bear now. Makes it a little bit complicated. Okay, so what's happened with the Darkwalker? Has he reached the lure yet? Okay, the bear is not blocking my path anymore, at least.
I'm gonna bleed out soon.
Yeah, we need to go up here. Don't worry about that. Okay, so that was a little bit of a detour there. Okay, so let's use our bandage to stop the bleeding. Oh dear. Well, that's why I didn't discard the antiseptic, just in case that happened. Right, thank you, Bear, for that extra thing. Okay, so now we're gonna head back. A little bit of a detour there. Some stuff I presume got ruined. Yeah, so let's just dump this. Alright. He is now at the lure. Well, close to the door anyway. There is down there. Now we're up here, and we're going to place a lure here, I think. Nah, there's no point placing a lure here, because we're almost in a straight line now. From between the Darkwalker and the cave, it's kind of like a straight line. So we don't really need to do anything. Okay, so that was a little bit of a setback. This is where I would contemplate saying like, oh, maybe I should just restart and do this walkthrough completely, because what kind of walkthrough has a bear attack in it? Yeah, not a great guide. So what happened there is I wasn't paying attention to where the bear was, and I ended up walking right into him. I was dependent there on either killing him with the revolver, which is perfectly doable but difficult, or I had to put down a fire, which is tricky as to time, so I didn't do that. Oh well, these things happen. I like, usually when those things happen, to continue the walkthrough, because if this was you, maybe you had bad luck with a bear and you got mauled by a bear. And then if that happens, then what do? Do you continue or do you give up? Well, you can, in my opinion, just continue. So as long as we continue to regenerate health, we should be fine. So right now we're outrunning the Darkwalker. He's far behind us. However, the real challenge now lies ahead of us. This is where it's going to get tricky. I'm actually going to eat something to make sure that I don't take health damage, is the thing here. So I can regenerate health. Okay, so here's what's going to be tricky now. Oh, wow, there's not a lot of... I'll use a flare. What's tricky now is that once I enter this cave, the Darkwalker will teleport. So we're now in Hashira Valley. The Darkwalker is probably somewhere like here. Somewhere. But once I enter this cave, we go back to Mountain Town. And there is a chance that he'll catch up with me. Because remember, he was fairly close to me in Mystery Lake. And he's not that far away from me now either. So it's quite possible. And usually this happens to me even when I speedrun this. Very often when I exit here into Mountain Town, I will run into the Darkwalker in like 50 meters all the time. So here is an area that I'd like to get out of as soon as I can. Because if you are cornered with the Darkwalker in here, it's really, really not good. Because you have such limited space to walk. But it's perfectly possible to avoid him nevertheless. Because you can use a lure in one part of the cave complex and walk around. But one issue with having survived a bear attack is you have very little health. So the Darkwalker, if I get too close to him now, he will just kill me with his fair affliction. Alright. Looks like he is far enough away, so I'm going to place this lure. And then we're going to head to Mountain Town. We shouldn't have any more issues with bears, but we'll see. And we might sleep in the cave to Mystery Lake, or more likely we'll sleep in Mystery Lake itself to recover some health. We're not going to sleep here in Mountain Town, because it's too risky. And how are we doing at fog? We got 41% fog. That's why I don't want to sleep here. And actually, I think I said earlier that it could clear up. But I think, actually, now that I think about it, the amount of fog in the region is depending on the toxic fog. So the more the toxic fog progresses, the less visibility there is, I believe. So whenever you enter a new region, it's always light. Now we're heading down to the clear cut, whatever it's called, woodlot. It's kind of a shortcut, but it's not out of bounds, anything crazy. It's just me following the hill down here. And the Darkwalker is actually fairly far away, which is good. This is actually the first time I've done this, and he has not cornered me in there. So we're doing really well. It is presumably because he's still slow. But when we get to the Desolation point, that will be an issue. So now we're approaching Grandmother's house, and we could sleep here. The problem is that if we do that, the lure is going to expire, and I lose control of where the Darkwalker is. And really what I want to do is to get out of here and finish climbing those 2 ropes. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to use the go drinks, or maybe even a stim, to get out of here. And I'm using just, I'm just going to walk for now, and if the wolves show up, I have my gun and I have a flare. So I'm not worried about the wolves at all. So, yeah, Hashira Valley, that was a bit of a setback with the bear. So in a way, this is more like the Darkwalker gameplay rather than Darkwalker walkthrough.
Sure.
But you know, these things happen. Sometimes in your run, you'll be attacked by a wolf or a bear. You'll take a lot of health from something. What happens then? Well, you got to improvise, don't you? You got to keep going. Keep going. So, yeah, that was unfortunate, but these things happen. So we're just going to continue. And if anything, it will be an interesting walkthrough just to show you how this can be done with so little health. It's a little bit of a shame I don't have gloves anymore, but other than that, it's we're okay. We could quickly go through the Orca station, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's see. Okay. Don't see any wolves. And there isn't really anything we need, but I'm going to check out this little hut, the like picnic office, or whatever you want to call it. So we might get some loot there. And we'll be on our way, I guess, yeah. So I think now the Darkwalker is much further away than I initially thought. Usually when I do this, it's much, much closer. So we're doing really well. He hasn't even reached the lure, so the dog was really far away. So we could probably sleep here if we wanted to. But I think I'm going to take advantage and use this distance to just get out of here. Let's get to this rope, climb down it, and you use a gold drink to climb up the other rope. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not going to go in here. We don't really need anything here. 19 minutes to the fog hits, but we should be out of here by then, so that's okay. Shouldn't be any wolves there, so it'll be okay. I'm a bit torn on how to do some of this walkthrough, because some of the other walkthroughs that I do, it's very straightforward how to do a challenge when it comes to frostbite risk, because my gloves got ruined. It's very straightforward how to solve any kind of challenge. In this one, it's a little bit more, not, well, you have some RNG, I suppose, but it's more that the Darkwalker can be a bit unpredictable in where he is and that sort of stuff, so it's harder to predict certain situations that could be useful for me to show you. Okay, let's get indoors so it don't take too much damage. Oh, he reached the lure. That's alright. We'll just warm up here a little bit. I think we'll be warm going in here. Yeah, we might actually though start a little fire.
It's so cold.
Because just warm up a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Do you have anything to put on? Nah, not really. Maybe there's a book or something. Yeah, that's alright. Okay, let's just see. We got combat boots and a hat. These might be good. We don't really need that. Food. Just while I'm warming up, I have this book we can put on. I'm not going to use that. Let's grab this and that and that. And then we might as well just loot this. It's just to warm up a little bit. And we could actually also warm up our coffee. And we can warm up this, which makes it going a little bit easier. There we go. And while it's cooking, I'll just loot this. How are we doing? I could make a lower here, but I don't think it'll be necessary. Oh, did I loot all this too? No, let's just check this out too. Just being a little bit careful with my health here, so I don't die. As you can see, bear attacks happen to the best of us. Alright. So that's ready, almost, that's 8 minutes. Let's just eat a little bit, we don't need this. We'll just eat this, I guess. Drink one of these as well. Some of it anyway. 5 minutes, so just wait. And then once that's boiled, we'll take that and go. Okay, 2 minutes. And the Darkwalker is... should I put a lower down? I don't think that's necessary, in my opinion. Okay, let's take that. And we'll just eat this right away. Because we'll warm up. Let's dump this. And take that. Okay, let's head out of here. We secured some of the frostbite risk too. And I'm going to wait to sleep until I'm at Trappers, I think. So here we are at the picnic spot. And we're going to climb down here, and we're going to use the gold drink thingy to get out of here. If I'm stuck, I can also use a gold drink to get down here, but it shouldn't be necessary. You burn a lot less fatigue going down than you do up. And even if I was very low energy, it would still be okay to climb down. Worst case, you can use a stim, and that will also help recover some health. As that's exhausted.
I'm so tired, I can lay down right here.
Alright, so now we're going to head to this rope. And we're going to use an energy drink to get back up there. It's getting quite foggy, so we could use this spell thing, but we'll see. Okay. It suddenly got more intense than normal because of this bear attack, but we wouldn't want to make it too easy, right? So now we're heading to this climbing rope that is over here. There's a one wolf down here as well. Or at least usually there's one. It can be two, but it's very rare. Usually there's one. If you are lost, just look at this climbing area that way. Just follow that. And if the wolf shows up, you just light this flare. The Darkwalker is heading straight in my direction now, but it's not going to be much of an issue. I don't see the point in using a lure. Because he's heading more or less straight for me. Looks like there is a wolf, and he went that way. There's the wolf. Okay. I mean, we can out-climb this wolf. But if in doubt, use the flare. There's the climbing rope, so we're going to drink one of our gold drinks and climb up it. The wolf shouldn't be a problem, it's too far away. So let's drink one of our gold drinks. And we'll climb up. And then we'll be out of here. I could place a lure down, but he's pretty far away. He broke the lure almost right before it expired, all the way on the other side of Mountain Town. So the Darkwalker is pretty far away right now. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Toxic Fog is in 13 minutes, but we only need 2 minutes to get out of here. So we'll be fine. And this gold drink will also allow me to sprint about twice. So we'll use it. And I'll probably actually sleep in trappers, because then I can warm up, I can recover some health, and then it'll be like the whole thing never happened. Although I would like to find some lantern fuel if I can. So here we are. We are now leaving Mountain Town. So this is the first of the difficult chokes.
I really do.
Because very often the Darkwalker will trap you when you come out of Ashtura Valley. In this case, that did not happen. But we instead got attacked by a bear, so that's that. We'll be okay. I'm gonna wait for this to regenerate, and then I'll sprint. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm looking to the side so I can walk sideways while clicking shift so I can see how much sprint is left. And I'm checking my energy boost meter to see how much is left of the energy drink. There we are, so that's fully charged. I'm just going to sprint out of here. Wait a little bit. This is almost expired now. So I'll sprint a bit more. Get inside this cave. Oops. And there we are, we're out. Out of Mountain Town. It's expiring. And Frostbite is still quite a while, yeah, so it's good. And now we're leaving Milton Region. As you can see, we're still in Mountain Town. So we're still not safe just yet. But we'll be okay. There's that. And now we have a headache for about 20 minutes. And we'll slowly lose some health now because we are drained of energy, which I can fix by drinking coffee. But I'm going to sleep in Trapper's cabin anyway, so it's not much of an issue. And then if there's no gloves anywhere, I might make some in like the camp office or something. Let's see what we got in here. We got another spray. How nice. We'll take that. We'll take these two as well. Don't need anything else. I might take this though, just in case we need to make a fire. I'm heading out of here. And we'll just use trappers to sleep. We could also sleep in camp office, but the good thing about sleeping in trappers is it's in a corner of the map. So if the Darkwalker gets there, the way out of this region now is from trappers to the middle of Mystery Lake, because the campfire is by derailment, and then we're going out via ravine. So if the Darkwalker catches up with us in trappers, we can outrun him or even outwalk him from there to the ravine. It's very easy. I'm gonna grab one of these just for warmth. So trappers is a very good place to rest because you will be able to outrun the Darkwalker no matter what, unless he happens to come from the northeast and go head towards you, towards trappers. But even if that's the case, you just head straight north and circumvent him and then outrun him. So trappers is a very good place to have a rest. There shouldn't be an issue with the Darkwalker here. Now that we are out of Mountain Town, one of the hardest parts are behind us. We have done Hashira Valley. We have 5 left, which is this one here now. And then also Coastal Highway, Desolation Point, Pleasant Valley, and Timberwolf Mountain before heading to Ash Canyon. So, here we are. No moose or bear, I hope. No. Don't want to get attacked by bears again. So we're going to stay here and just recover some health, sleep. The Darkwalker will maybe catch up to us. He's fairly far away, I'd say. Not super far, but I think he's far enough away. And if he catches up to us while we sleep, it's no problem, because we can easily escape him from this position. And in fact, I've got to be honest, a couple of times while I have been resting, I have kind of been hoping that the Darkwalker would catch up with me, because then I could show you how that works. Food, coffee, rifle ammo. He's not super far away, so he probably will catch up with me this time. That's what leave this though.
This will come in
That's
handy.
okay if he does. Yeah, you can hear the footsteps. So this time I think he probably will catch up with us. Yeah, I think so. But that's okay if that happens. Okay, so let's eat quickly and then get out of here. And in fact, what you could do, if you just want to be extra safe, although I don't think it will be necessary or be any use, but we can put a ward down, which will prevent the Darkwalker from getting too close. But I don't think in practice this will make much difference. It's quite close though. We're going to sleep for 12 hours, and then we'll see how far we get. And we're regenerating some health here also, which is great. Let's see, there he is. See? There's the Darkwalker. So now we can place a ward. And this should stop his continuation. Boom. See, now he has stopped. This will keep the Darkwalker at bay. He's not going to be able to catch up as long as this ward is active. So I can now take my time. As long as this is up, we can't do anything. So I'm going to do a little bit of inventory management here.
That can't be good.
No, it's not good, but it'll be fine. Crafting. I wouldn't mind getting some gloves. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to look at. These shoes, yeah. And I know these better because they got wrecked by the bear. This one's better. This one we can actually harvest if that's the case. In case I need to get cloth for gloves.
Something moving out there?
And then we're going to eat a little bit. Drink a little bit. Just to have a bit of food and hydration so we can continue regenerating health. So even though, as you can see, even though we got attacked by a bear, we're actually doing alright.
Better stay alert.
We have anxiety because the Darkwalker's nearby, but that's alright. We don't have gloves, so frostbite is a risk, but I tell you what, even if I got frostbite, who cares? Because once you banish the Darkwalker, it's done. So it doesn't really make a difference. No. Okay, so I think we are ready to move then. So what we're going to do now is going to head outside, and we're going to place a lure. And the Darkwalker right now is probably like here. At the moment, he's too far away to actually do anything to me other than giving me anxiety, so I can't sleep anymore. But once I get outside, I'm going to place a lure, which he will head to. And then I'm going to head up here, and I should be able to just outwalk him even, because I should be faster than him. So let's just do that. And you'll see, as soon as I leave the vicinity of this ward, he will start moving again. See, now he starts moving again, see? And it is somewhere over there. Yeah. And let's see if I can just outwalk him. Yeah, as you can see, just walking, I am going faster than he is. So at this stage, he's not fast enough. Even at, I think even when you have all 10 pages, even then you are faster than the Darkwalker. So you don't really have to worry about it. But he is faster. This lure is not going to last long at all. I'm just walking now to illustrate to you that you can walk away from the Darkwalker. Now I can sleep if I want to, not going to though. Once the lure breaks, which is not going to be long, then I'll start running. Because the ward by the campfire will keep him away. So now it's about 250 meters away. If you want to see what the Darkwalker looks like, let me know. We can do that. What am I saying? Let me know. I see if you're going to say in the comments, like, oh yeah, let me know, and then I'll go back and do it. There we are, I got the lure. So it's about 300 meters away or so now, so we can run to increase that distance. We're heading towards derailment. The easiest is to run towards the lookout tower, the forest lookout tower, which should be this way if I remember correctly. If in doubt, again, check your map, and it is this way. I don't think we should run into any bear problems anymore. Let me think. The bears here shouldn't be out here. In Coastal Highway... we could maybe run into a bear in Coastal Highway that could be in our way, but nothing big. Desolation Point, the bear shouldn't be a problem. And then in Pleasant Valley, there could be one in the way or two. Gulf Mountain should be... yeah, there's a few bears that could still be in our way. Now we're running, and I might even sleep at the campfire. Just to recover some more health and some more energy. Because the upside of having so much energy is that you can sprint, and then you get rid of the Darkwalker easier. So this wolf, if he doesn't aggro me, I can scare him away like this. Okay. It's kind of going the wrong direction, but that's okay. I could also just scare him away the usual way with a campfire and he got scared. He just hasn't loaded the animation yet. Okay, he's going for a rabbit now. Or a deer. I think it's a deer. Yeah, you do that. Yeah. So the revolver, this is the main function of the revolver, by the way. Nothing to do with Darkwalker, what I'm saying now. But the revolver, whenever it was introduced, it has always been intended to be a deterrent weapon. Some people use the revolver to hunt, but it's not what it's for. You can't... No. You can, of course, hunt with the revolver, but it takes so many bullets to take down an animal. You can get super lucky and get a critical hit, and it will hit right in the face of the animal you're hunting. But for the most part, it's not aimed at that. As you saw when I fought the bear, I used the revolver, but that was just because it's the only thing I had. But it's meant to be a deterrent. It's meant to fight off wolves attacking you. It's meant to scare them off like I did there. That's what it's for. So you shouldn't hunt with it. And as you saw there, when a wolf is not on you, or even sometimes, I think it's about 50% chance, if the wolf is on you, like aggroing you, if you just shoot a stray bullet, it will scare them off. So we got some flares. Check in here, see if there's a stim.
Well, this stuff
We don't need that.
handy.
Just maybe. Okay, so now we're here at the 6th campfire. We have the rifle, which we will not be needing. But I guess I could take it just because, you know, it's more defense. More rifle, marine, MRE, combat pants. Nice. I might as well use this, just because, why not? It makes our trip a little bit easier. And then I think I'm going to sleep here, at least for a few hours, while this ward is up. I know. So let's sleep like, I don't know, 3 hours. I think that's how long the ward lasts. Yeah, more or less 4 hours, I guess. I guess we don't need to do any more. We can instead sleep in the trailer. And I might as well carry this gun, or the revolver, in case I run into anything. I think that I'll prefer having the revolver out, unless I believe I'm going to run into a bear or a moose, in which case I'll switch. Now I have quite a big distance between myself and the Darkwalker, so I should be okay. I'll probably sleep a little bit more in the trailer, just because then I can have some more. Although from here on it's pretty straightforward. We need to go to Coastal Highway, and it's more or less a straight line from here. It's not difficult to do. We're just gonna now head through the ravine, through Coastal Highway. We have to go down Coastal Highway though to the campfire, which is out on the ice, and then we go through Desolation Point. All of this all the way to the 8th fire now, which is in Desolation Point. We should be okay. However, there is a risk in coming out of Desolation Point, which could be interesting. So we'll see how that goes. It's one of the chokes. Let me just see if there's a moose here. If there is, I'll scare it off. But it does not look like there is one. If you're not sure, if you really can't see anything, just do this. And then if there's any animals nearby, they'll get scared. If you want extra ammo, you can check over there. There's a little campfire. Very often there's, well, not very often, but sometimes there's a rifle there with some ammo. And there's also sometimes a wolf, so if you want, you can do a deterrent shot. And nothing, so I don't think there's a wolf there right now. If you watch some of my speedruns, in the speedruns where I have a revolver, you'll sometimes see me just randomly shoot like that. That's to get rid of any nearby wolves. Okay. There's nothing I really need here, but I might as well just check quickly in here. And I'm also going to see quickly... Oh, we got a stim, that's great. I'm just going to see if this happens to be... gloves. No, I guess not. Okay. We got that though. How much fuel was in the lantern I picked up? Oh, much better. Okay, so we're gonna sleep here. And we're gonna recover some health and some stamina. So let's do that now. Let's sleep 8 hours. I don't think the Darkwalker is going to catch up. I don't think so. I think he's too far away. No. Yeah, that's what I thought. Too far away. So let's head out then. As you can see, we've recovered full health. So we're really in a good position again, despite this little setback with the bear attack. And this is the reason why I didn't just end the walkthrough there and say, okay, well, let's do this again then and get a flawless walkthrough. Is there such a thing as a flawless walkthrough? Sure there is, but where's the fun in that? So instead, Consider this a bonus that is how to survive a bear attack in Darkwalker. We're going to put a lure here because I don't know exactly where the Darkwalker is now that we enter this region. But we are now in the ravine and we're going to head straight across. So putting a lure here is very good because then after he reaches it, it's a straight line all the way across. So you get a very good feel for where the Darkwalker is. And I'm going to run a little bit, if I can manage. Just to ensure I have some distance between me and the lure. And then that's it. If you're still struggling with health, you can pick up some birch bark here and just cook that. Other than that, ravine is one of the safest areas in the game. It's actually, by the way, the ravine is the only area in the game with no predators. So if you ever want to survive in the long dark, but you don't want to deal with the predators, and you just want to play Stalker or Voyager or Interloper, you can survive here. Because there's usually 2 or sometimes 3 deer in this area here. There's a bunch of birch bark. There's some rabbits over here. And there's some more rabbits by the cave up the road. And then there's some more rabbits down by the entrance to Bleak Inlet. So there's quite a bit of food here. It's possible to survive in the ravine, even though it's quite stale. Eventually you've done everything. But it is possible to survive it perfectly safe without any issue whatsoever. There's the rope anchor to go down. So if I wanted to, I could have grabbed the rope, attached it, and then climbed down there, and there will be a flare gun there. But we don't need to do that. We're going to head straight out of here. I can't really hear the Darkwalker particularly close, so I don't think it's much of an issue at the moment. I'll check this because it's in my way.
I'll take it.
I don't think we need that. Socks. I might keep those for making gloves. And then we have a cave up here, which I also usually check because it's right there. Oh, the backpack. This is always there. Another Go energy drink. I now have what, 4 of them or something. Yeah, so we have a load of sprint capacity. Now what I always do is that near the end of the challenge, whatever I've left of stims and gold rings and stuff, I just use it right away. Let's check here. Here's some rabbits. Darkwalker sounds like it's pretty far away, so I'm not too worried about that. We'll grab this though, so we can have food. We don't really need anything else, so we're out of here. You can hear the Darkwalker in the far distance, but shouldn't be an issue. By the way, the timer for the toxic fog, I believe, appears once you reach 50%. This is quite a small area, so it's already up to 20. The way the timer works is that it's dependent on the region. So if basically the larger the region is, the longer it takes to fill up the region with toxic fog. And how long, yeah, depends on the size of the region. The ravine is quite small, and therefore it won't take very long. So we're already up to like 25% or something. Yeah. So by the time I reach the other side of the ravine, it will probably already be something like probably 50%. By the way, do I have a sewing kit or something? I do. Okay, so I can make gloves if I wanted to. But now the lure is up because the lure, or the lure, or whatever. I don't even know how to say it. The lure, it works in-game time. So the Darkwalker is now moving in real time towards the lure. But if I pass time, the timer of the lure will also decrease. And then we come up now soon to the only other real challenge, so to speak, which is the bridge. Other than that, we are good. So let's see. How's my frostbite risk? Nothing. Let's run a bit because it's going to expire soon. Darkwalker is pretty far away, and the Darkwalker will most likely not be an issue. Oh, there he is, he got it. So he is now right there. That's pretty far away. The Darkwalker will most likely not be an issue again until we get to Desolation Point, in which case we have two options. We can either just try and circumvent the Darkwalker and basically wait him out and circumvent him, like go around and out, or we can try and hope for the best going out. You gotta always use the laws and terrain to your advantage, so if you feel like the Darkwalker is in your way, you might want to take the time to navigate, like do a little loop, head around in a loop away from the exit that you want, and then you play a lure, and then you go around and back, and then you can exit. So the Darkwalker is always possible to circumvent. I think the hardest place to avoid him is the dam, because everything is in such close proximity there. Okay, so we're going to actually here, I think I'm gonna make the gloves, I think, once I'm in cover here. So here, because now the lure is down, so it doesn't make a difference. How much cloth do I have? I have 2. So let's harvest these socks. And I think it's 3 for gloves, or is it 4 for gloves? I can't remember. No, it's 4, okay. In that case, we'll harvest this. And we'll also just eat a bit, because we have so much. Might as well just eat, I don't know, this, I guess. Let's get rid of some food, especially heavy food. You don't really need any of this stuff. And if you get food poisoning, it's not a biggie. We'll just sleep it out or wait it out. It doesn't matter. There we are. Drop these 2. And then I want to craft the wraps. We don't really need to do this, but it's just to be a little bit safer. And now we have gloves, so frostbite will not be an issue anymore. So we don't have to worry about that. Thanks, Bear, for ruining my gloves. But even if I didn't have gloves and I got frostbite, it wouldn't make a difference, because I will be at 10% less health. Okay, now we are entering Coastal Highway, and the campfire is down here. You might actually even see it from where we come out. And as per usual, when I enter a new region, as long as I'm not heading towards the Darkwalker, I'm placing a lure here. And again, this is from here, I'm heading in a pretty much straight line. Zoom down to campfire, zoom down to Coastal Desolation Point. So the lure is not so much for the Darkwalker per se, because even if he's here, you know, I'm going to outrun him anyway. But I want to know where he is. That's half of the lures I place, if not more of them, is just to get information. Where is the Darkwalker? Is he close? Is he far away? How far away is he? So you use that to draw him away from you, but also get information. And I think we can actually see the campfire. I think, yeah, there we go, see it? In the far distance there, it blinked. Yeah, well, it's down there, it doesn't show anymore for some reason. But it is down there. There's a corpse right here by this river that you can check if you like. This is quite a large region, so this toxic fog time will be longer. But if you go here over to this corpse here, there isn't much to this really, but there's often a rifle or something here. Or if not a rifle, we have rifle ammunition. Which again, you don't really need, but it does make the run a bit easier because you're carrying around this thing. And again, it's perfectly possible to complete this challenge without any other weapons. And when I speedrun this challenge, I don't use the weapons. I sometimes have used the revolver once I get it, and I just do stray firings to get rid of animals. But other than that, I don't really use it very much. I do have the flare gun open though when I get that, just to make things easier. I'm just going to walk because we're not really in a hurry. I think if I were to use the spell glyph, it probably would be here, since this is quite a large region and I have to go all the way across it and all the way back. So we'll see. I might use it anyway just to illustrate how it works. We're heading towards the campfire straight now, so it's pretty much in a straight line as you can see. Even if you're not that familiar with this region, you should be able to navigate to the terrain. Just downwards with the terrain and towards the coast. You know, so you want to basically head to the coast.
Jeez, this is cold.
And we won't be needing any more lures for the time being, because the Darkwalker is always going to be behind us. We could maybe place one in Crumbling Highway, but even then I don't think it's going to be necessary. I don't know if we'll be needing it. As you saw, like if you were to get cornered by the Darkwalker, like what happens in Trappers, you just place a ward and then you start planning. Maybe you can try to figure out where the Darkwalker is coming from, and then you can plan it. Like you can exit the ward and head towards the Darkwalker to figure out the direction and go back to the ward, and then you know exactly where to go. The campfire should be straight ahead. There it is, yeah. I do think it's a good thing that they decided to do it this way, namely that you will always see where the campfire is. It makes it so much easier to just get there. We are cold, but not very cold, and we have all our clothing, so by the time we get there, we'll be warm. So I'm just gonna auto walk there. We got deer in the way. Darkwalker is pretty far away, and the lure will just give us an idea of how far away it is. If the lure expires before the Darkwalker reaches it, which happens several times, this run, then you don't know exactly how far away it is, but you know it's far away enough they didn't get there. I'm pretty sure it's possible to look up the science details of this. I know some Redditors and some streamers have done it to figure out exactly, you know, how fast does a Darkwalker move compared to you. Where exactly does he spawn when you go into a new region, all that sort of stuff. And if you want, you can look that up. I never looked it up because even though the challenge is scary, it's a great design. It's not that hard, as you can see. And if anything, I find the wolves and the bear especially more of a nuisance than anything else, just because they are kind of like in the way. While the Darkwalker is this predictable entity that literally does very little to you until he catches up. So if the Darkwalker is out of range of you, then it's like he's not even there. It's like a non-existent threat. Once he's close to you, it means you cannot rest. So he's only when he's 200 meters away from you, he's only really a threat in the sense that you can't sleep. So if you are tired, then he's a threat in the sense that you can't necessarily outrun him. But even then you have wards to keep him off. Even if he's 200 meters away from you, you can place a lure, head in the opposite direction, and you'll buy some time, you know. So yeah. But once he gets very close, 50 meters, then he starts draining your health, which is not great. However, even then he's perfectly possible to avoid. Although it's tricky in close quarters like mines and that sort of stuff. So this Desolation point transition is going to be our next challenge. Here we got some marine flares, we don't need those, we'll take them anyway. Diary page, glyph, and now we have 7, I believe, yes. Oh, he got the lure. Oh, we got rabbit mittens were in here. Oh nice, I didn't even realize that. We're going to make some coffees. Actually first I'm going to make some water. And I'm going to put on these rabbit mittens, so this is, leave these. These are lighter, so I'm going to put those back down. I'll do this. And then we'll cook the coffee, because I'm just going to use the coffee instead, I think. Coffees are always good. And then we'll use this. We don't need all this medicine, that doesn't really matter. That's fine, we don't need this. All of this. Let's also see if we can dump anything else. Keep this for now, I guess. Let's drink one of these, because we might as well use these coffees now. Coffees are great to have, just because they will make it so you can sprint more. Let's just make all of them. There's no point looking at your skills. That doesn't really do anything. And I think we can make one more. I think that's it. Yeah. Any more? No. Okay, I guess that's it. Now we head out of here, and we are at 19%. We have 7. Darkwalker somewhere. Darkwalker's probably now here, I think. And since we have so much coffee, we can just run now, really. And we're heading to Desolation Point. 7 out of 10 down. We might as well just quickly check here, but only if there's anything that's glaringly obvious. Oh, a skull. I want that. Give it to me. And nothing else. Well, we'll drink a coffee just to reduce fatigue burn. Darkwalker's pretty far away, and we're heading a straight line away from the Darkwalker, so we don't really need to place a lure because it's not necessary. There is a possibility here that you run into a wolf and possibly a bear. The bear will not be much of an issue. The bear has a cave on the other side of this island right here. And he might go around and we might see him over here. But I don't think the bear is going to be an issue right now. But a wolf can also come in this area, so it's possible we'll run into a wolf. We'll see. This is one of those cases where the open ice in Coastal Highway can be devastating. And as you can see, we have, of course, the map, so we can see exactly where we are and which direction we're heading. So even if there was a blizzard here, which, by the way, can't happen, you can't get blizzards on this challenge. At least I've never seen one. You always know where to go. But if this was survival mode, then you were on Coastal Highway. Yeah, then it's harder. While we're here, just on the topic, if you ever were to find yourself in Coastal Highway and you're out in the open ice, and let's say a blizzard hits and you're walking around like this, like, oh god, where am I? Like, oh, this is there, but like, oh, I can't see anything, where am I? What you can do is you can put down a clue. So, for example, you can take a stick, right? Drop the stick, and then okay, and then you go one way for a little while, and then you drop another stick or whatever you got on you, and then you're leaving this little trail behind. See? So what you can do is you can just continue, just walk in a straight line, and every few feet you drop a stick or a tinder plug or a match or whatever. So you create a little trail behind you, and it's going a straight line until eventually you'll find land, and then you'll know, okay, I know where I am now. However, if you find something else, if you find a cliff or you find the water, and I was like, oh god, took the wrong turn, you can then backpedal. You can follow your trail back to your original starting position, and then you can go somewhere else instead. That's a wolf. That's one thing you can do. You can also do like this. You can drop a stick, and then you'll see that this stick actually points north. So this way is that way, which is like that. See? So north is upwards of the stick. It's not exactly like up, like straight. If I look like this and then up, you see it's not exactly straight, but yeah. So you can do that to indicate. And in fact, if you place this in your coastal highway and walk this way, you will eventually reach one of these shores, right? So that's one other way to navigate. Anyway, enough about sorry, a bit of a tangent there. I always like to educate my audience because it varies. Some people already know this stuff, some don't. Welcome to Zach's Darkwalker walkthrough, where you also get to see what it's like to get mauled by a bear, and then get tips on navigating blizzards when there isn't even a blizzard. Alright, so now we're approaching the Crumbling Highway, which is a little bit of a tricky transition because there can be two wolves here that can be in the way. But we have the revolver, so they're not really an issue. We're probably going to sleep at the Riken, so I don't really care if I get exhausted and I run a lot. We're just gonna get there. Because actually, when I sleep, I want to sleep in the Riken, which is right next to the next campfire we're going to. And the thing is, it would actually be slightly to my advantage if the Darkwalker caught up with me in the Riken. Because then I can navigate having him behind me when I leave Desolation Point. I'll know that he's behind me rather than in front when I enter the mine, which makes it easier to exit the region. So here there's 2 wolves. It varies where the 2 wolves are. Sometimes they're out here on the ice. Doesn't look like it. Other times they're out up here, other times they're over there. So here, when you get here, you gotta be a bit careful. If you decided to spawn in Desolation Point, it's not so much of an issue, because they won't be here. But any other time... sound like they were nearby, but... any other time, you gotta be careful. Okay, they're over there. They're on the ice, on the far side. Still gonna do a few warning shots though. Just because when I go around corners, I want to make sure that the wolf isn't there. And then we're gonna go. You can go over this if you like, but you don't need to. You can just go down here. There's another shortcut you can take, but we're gonna just take the usual route. Not gonna place the lure because we don't really need to. We're just gonna head out. Oh. And head to the Desolation. I don't think we need to drink another coffee. Because by the time we get there, I think I'll be alright. We're now entering the mine to Desolation Point. And here is where we could get trapped by the Darkwalker. But I think we'll be okay. Especially now, going into Desolation Point. But going out, it could be a bit harder. We'll see. We are still in, I think, Crumbling Highway, yeah. So, let's grab these. Don't need any of this stuff, but well, maybe the bullets, but... And as you can hear, he's quite far away, so... I should be fine going through all of this without getting close to the Darkwalker. And you can loot this stuff if you like, but it's not really necessary, in my opinion. I'm just gonna walk through this. I will loot first aid kits. That's actually something I would recommend, that whenever you go through areas where there's loot, it's up to you if you want to loot it or not. As you can see, I generally speaking don't bother looting everything, but I loot some stuff. Like this, and I might take these things to refuel. I might take that. Now I'm actually heavy, so I'm going to dump something. First of all, though, I'm going to refuel this. Just to make that more. And I'm going to drop these, because we're never going to use them. And I guess that's it. But you can loot whatever you want, of course, as much or as little as you want or need. You're going to find food everywhere, because I think the loot setting is kind of a Voyager difficulty, I think. So there's a lot of loot to find. So food-wise, you're never going to struggle. Me, however, I loot some stuff to find some extra food and some clothing sometimes, but for the most part, what I always check if I can are the first aid kits. If you walk by a first aid kit, you should always check it. Just because there might be a stim in there, or a gold drink, or something like that. Okay. Here there is a shortcut you can take here. Just go straight and Billy go down. We're not going to do that though. In the distance there is a fire. I don't think we can see it. We're going to take this route though. The normal route, as it were. And then straight to the campfire. There shouldn't be any wolves right here, but we might run into some soon. There we are. And let's just drink this just to get some calories and stuff. Let's get the revolver out. And then around the corner here, towards the lighthouse and towards the Riken, there can be wolves, and they can come out of nowhere suddenly. So in fact here I'm going to grab the rifle, because you can use these as warning shots too, and it's just so much stronger. So if a wolf shows up, at least we have something. I don't have any weapons to defend myself with except the revolver itself. That's the only thing I got. But that's fine, we should be able to survive a wolf struggle if that happened. So here there's usually 2 wolves, sometimes 3, and they will be walking out and about here. If you have a good headset, you should be able to hear them when they get too close. And I can't say this enough, but I highly recommend having a good headset when you play this game. I know a lot of people play on console, and that's fine. It's a very nice and relaxing game to play on console as well. But if you have a good headset, console or PC, but if you have a good headset, it makes a big difference. You can really hear when like an animal is nearby. You can hear the prints, the steps in the snow, that sort of stuff. I don't hear anything this time, so we're heading straight to the fire. She's straight over here.
I'm gonna need to rest soon.
Should be able to see there's the wolf. Is he actually coming for me? I don't think so. Oh, he is. I hit him though. Oh, okay, well. I hit him with the rifle, but he still came for me, which is unusual. It wasn't necessary to kill that wolf, because he wasn't close enough, so I could have just walked away. I could have taken the revolver and done a shot. One upside of the revolver is that you will not trigger a charge with it. So when a wolf is on you, like it's aggroed you, like that wolf, whenever that happens with a wolf, if you aim at the wolf like this, you will trigger a charge. So like this, or like this, or like this. If you do that towards the wolf, you will trigger the wolf to charge you, right? So if I have the rifle up, which I did, the thing is that if I shoot a shot like this, a warning shot, the wolf is likely to run away. The problem is that unless I'm looking away from the wolf, I have to do this to fire a warning shot, and that will trigger the charge. If, however, instead I'm carrying the revolver, I don't actually have to aim down the sight. So the wolf is on me, but I haven't triggered a charge, and I can just do this. And then that will cause the wolf to flee. In my experience, the wolf will always flee if you do that. And if the wolf is charging you already, then you have about 50% chance or something like that for that to work. As you can see, I'm running out of Darkwalker stuff to say, so that's why I'm teaching all this other stuff. Okay, we're going to sleep here in the Riken, and if the Darkwalker catches up with us, that's okay. Let's make our last batch of water here as well. Do like that. Let's use this thing. Then we have more water. We need some inventory management inside the boat. Page, hunting knife, glyph. What's in here? I can't remember.
Hope nobody
Balaclava. Please. More energy drinks. This is probably. Put that there. I'll put this on. Get rid of that. Alright, we're gonna sleep inside the Riken. But if the Darkwalker catches up with us, it doesn't really matter. In fact, we kinda want him to, because it makes it easy to get out of here. We can just place a lure at the Riken itself, and then we can go around him so he's behind us when we go out of it. So we now have 8. Let's head up to the beds here. You can also sleep outside if you like, near the campfire, or in that little captain's quarters upstairs. You don't need any of this stuff, but I'm going to check this first aid kit.
This will come in handy.
We'll do a little bit of inventory management because we don't need all this stuff. Okay, so here we are. Alright, so let's, we don't need all of these things. Let's just lighten the load a little bit. These ones, we don't need this many, but we'll take them. We don't need this many of these either. We have way too many matches. Let's drop a bunch of these. We'll keep that, I guess. Clothing wise, we're alright. Food, we have quite a lot of heavy food, so I'm just going to eat some of that. And we'll see what else we can get rid of. Just to lighten the load a little bit. Let's see, we can have another can. I think it's pretty far away, the Darkwalker. I don't know if it'll actually catch up with us. Let's get rid of this. And we got a lot of these flares. Let's actually refuel this.
I'm so tired I could lay down right here.
And we can also just dump a couple of these. We don't need it. I guess that's it. I don't think there's anything else really to do. No, that's fine. Okay, so let's, we can also eat a chocolate, why not, just to get some more energy in us. We got so much food now, we're not going to need all of this. I might as well just fill myself up completely, so I don't have to worry about this stuff. And there we go. So let's just douse this, and then we'll sleep for 12 hours, and we'll see if the Darkwalker catches up with us. Who's coming for dinner? Okay, let's see. Okay, it's not here yet. That's nice. So then we can actually, might as well take the opportunity to do this. And let's have another one. You can't get food poisoning from drinks that are low condition, by the way. So that's not something to worry about here. I'm just filling up here. I'm mostly doing this to lighten the load. Alright, and then we'll do this. And now we can leave. Oops. Now we need to go to Pleasant Valley. And then Timberwolf Mountain, and then we're done. And there was a tomato soup there, but I did it. Okay, now I want the Darkwalker to come this direction. It sounds like he's... not sure exactly where he is. We're gonna place one of these. Get him to go towards the Riken. And now we're gonna just pretty much just get out of here. I'll use this. It is possible we're heading towards the Darkwalker now. But if that happens, it's okay, because he has to go past us towards the lower anyway. And that's actually to our advantage. So that's okay. I'm trying to listen to where he is, and he's pretty... sounds like we're going towards him. It sounds like he's over there. I think he might be somewhere like here. There's a wolf we killed. A shell casing. If you didn't know already, if you want the shell casings for ammo crafting, for survival, the way it works is that with rifles, the shell casings eject when you fire the rifle, and with the revolver, it ejects when you reload the revolver. Okay. Let's see. I don't hear the Darkwalker anywhere. I hear a wolf though. Yeah. See, that was a good example of the advantage of the revolver. Because the wolf was on me there, it had aggroed me. But because the revolver can be used without aiming down the sight, I could actually shoot at the wolf to scare it off without aiming at it. See? And this is the main function of this weapon. This is what it's for. The flare gun is the same. The flare gun is the same function as this. It works exactly the same. It's just that the flare gun is more powerful. The flare gun will also scare away a moose as well as a bear. So it's a much stronger version of this. I think it killed it there. Yeah. Okay, the Darkwalker sounds like he's pretty far away. I was gonna I actually went to shoot there, but because they were so close, it triggered the loot action instead, so I couldn't actually shoot. Oh. Anyway, the Darkwalker is pretty far away. I'm gonna drink a coffee just to maintain my stamina. And we'll get out of here. And now we're approaching possibly the last of the very tricky transitions. This is why I said it's okay that the Darkwalker catches up with me, because then I know where he is, and I can keep him behind me when I go from the Riken. But it sounded like he was quite far away, so it was fine to just sleep there. But this now, when we enter this mine, we actually transition to Crumbling Highway, and it can happen that the Darkwalker starts catching up to you here. But considering how far away he is, I think it's probably not going to be close enough here either. But if it does happen... Oh, he got the lure. Okay. So now he is here. That's fairly far away. So I think we should be okay getting through these mines without using anything. But just for safety, we could nevertheless put down a lure here. Just to make sure that he's not going to get us. So why don't we do that? Just for extra precaution. We'll put one down. Not really necessary, but it's just to make sure that in this cramped space that we call this mine, we know that the Darkwalker is going to come for this and not for me. Even though it sounds like it's pretty far away, so I don't think we're going to be needing this lure at all. But nevertheless, it's good to place it there. You should be behind us now, anyway. The distance of the Darkwalker carries into the next region, so if the Darkwalker is right behind you, if he's like at, say, 150 meters, and then you enter a new region, then the position of the Darkwalker might change, but he's still going to be 150 meters away from you. So it's not like when you enter a new region that it resets. It's just that the direction or angle can reset. That's why this lure I don't think is necessary. He's pretty far away. He's in the Riken now, and we're leaving Desolation Point, so this should be okay. Same with Crumbling Highway. I don't think we need one in Coastal Highway either, because he's so far away. But we could nevertheless put one when we enter Coastal Highway. Okay, and now we are exiting this. There's the exit. Let's douse this. Grab the revolver. And now we're back in Crumbling Highway. And here you can go the normal way, but here I usually take a little mini shortcut there. It's down here. Sounds like he's behind me, sounds like he's like over there somewhere, which should make sense, because it's from Desolation Point. So we're gonna outrun him, and in fact I don't, unless he catches up with us in the mine to... Is that a wolf? No, it's a bunny. Unless he catches up with us in the mine to Pleasant Valley, I don't think we'll actually see the Darkwalker again. When I speedrun these challenges, it takes forever near the end. They have recently patched that, but before, when I did these challenges, whether I speedrun it or not... See, that scared away a wolf, did you hear that? That's why I do these things. I just shot it on the ground, but you can hear a wolf fleeing. Okay. Whenever I complete this challenge, very often when you get to the end, to the glyph at the end, where you banish the Darkwalker, what happens is that he is so far away that you just stand there and you wait and you wait and you wait. And the thing is, when you put down the banish glyph to actually defeat the Darkwalker, he speeds up, he starts running. But he can still be really far away. So the first time I actually completed this challenge, I got to the glyph, I sprayed the thingy, and I think I waited 5 minutes. 5 minutes I just stood there, and he's running towards me. And it took him 5 minutes to get to me. So really, really far away. But now they have patched it so that Darkwalker, once you put down the banishing circle, he'll start being really, really fast. He starts sprinting towards you. And that's good, because I don't have to wait this long. Okay, so now we're going to head to Cinder Hills Mines, which is up here. So basically heading to, the easiest route is to kind of go through coast to the garage, and then through the loop-de-loop, the lookout tower and up. You can also go through the fishing logs and up here. That's another way to do it. Either way is fine. We are going to put down a lure here just to keep him away from us. and also to track his exact whereabouts. Okay, so we're gonna drop that. And we're gonna head out. We could run into one, possibly two bears now, so we are going to be a bit ready for that. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I just had a sneeze, so. Alright. I'm gonna have this up because if I run into the bear, it's the only defense I really have. And what I could do now if I want to, I can just use the sprint. The go drinks aren't actually that useful, I find, unless your stamina is quite low. Because the thing is that what the go drink does is it refills your sprint meter, which is great, you can sprint more. But the problem is that once you have sprinted, it recharges normally, and you can't drink another go drink. So you have to just wait to recharge, sprint again, and so on. And then once it expires, you get a headache, and when the headache expires, then you can drink another one. So basically that means you can't chain drink the go drinks. That's the issue. Okay, so be a little bit careful of the bear here. We're gonna head to the garage. It's the route I think people are most familiar with. Okay, walking into the oblivion here. Oh, here he is. Oh shit, there he is right now. I'm actually gonna try and scare him off. That did not work. Okay. Sometimes that works. Let me just try that again. Huh. This is a fearless bear. There you know. Because usually when you hunt the bear and you miss, the bear runs away. Look at this. Oh, well, that's fine. You can just circumvent them. Surprising though. Oh well. That's alright. We're gonna head via the garage, just because that's the route I think people are probably most familiar with to get to this mine, where you go from the garage up to the lookout tower and then into the mines. If you're really not sure where you're going, you can do the other route, which is to go back to Mystery Lake, and then you can go through the dam into Pleasant Valley. You can do that if you like, but you are getting a high risk of toxic fog if you do that. You don't really have time to hang around in this challenge. It is possible to survive for several hours. I think the world record is like 12 hours or something. And by going in and out of zones with the toxic fog, but what's the point of that? So we're approaching the garage now. The other way we could go is to go via the road and up to the, I think it's called fishing logs. And then you can take that road up over a little bridge, and then it leads up to this little pathway up to the mines. And you can do that too. That route is safer. You're not going to run into any bears or wolves or anything. This route, however, which is the more common one, can lead to encounters with a bear and at least one wolf, if not more. Now I'm going to run as much as I can now, because now we're heading in a straight line to Timberwolf Mountain, or Pleasant Valley, Timberwolf Mountain, and then Ash Canyon. So there isn't really anything else to really do as such. So we're just going to get out of here. And remember, if you're lost and you can't see, remember, you have your map. You can use your map. And in general, if you want maps of the regions, you can use an app called Extended Night on your phone. That gives you maps that you can use to try and figure out where you are a bit more. Okay, I'm hoping I don't run into the other bear here, because that could be an issue. Well, they're gonna have to see. I'd rather not engage the bear because I don't kill it. It just makes the whole thing awkward. Okay, we're at the crossroads. Here you have two routes. One is to go this way, but it kind of leads to this awkward place. It's a bit of a detour, really. The other way is to go here and to the left, which will lead straight to the road going up to the mines via the lookout tower. One problem though, the bear cave is in the way, so we have to be a bit careful. Let's see if he is around. 1 sec. Alright, let's see. Let's see if the bear is around. It could be anywhere, even in front of me. I don't hear him though. No, I don't think. Oh, there he is, yeah. Okay. The best thing to do now is to make him attack me, or I can go around, but on a ledge where I can jump down like here. So I can just shoot him in the face and then jump down. Like that. Now he ran away. See how he's making that fear noise? That's how you get rid of him. Because what basically happened there is I shot him in the face, but he didn't die. So I instead made him run away. I jumped off a ledge, and that way there was no pathing for him to achieve, so there was nowhere for him to go. So what happens instead is that he becomes afraid. And that's how you get rid of the bear if he's in your way. You have to get on some sort of ledge where you can jump off so that he can't path to you, and he will break aggro completely. Or he dies. That's another way to do it. Okay, now we just gotta get up to this mine here. And I can hear a wolf, so there should be at least one wolf in my way. So let's get the revolver out. I don't think we'll be needing to dispel fog. But I would have been okay. Hold on. Oh, yeah. See what I mean? The power of headsets. That I could hear the wolf there. I can hear him coming. And the revolver is quite handy. As you can see, it's very windy, so the torch trick doesn't work, but I do have a lot of flares. So the alternative is to light the flare and then aim at it with whatever weapon, and it will run away. But the wolves are not much of an issue, really. The bears are more of an issue. Right now, it shouldn't be too bad. We might have to come across one bear, maybe two bears in Pleasant Valley. And then in Timberwolf Mountain, there's one bear that's kind of in our way. I don't think it'll be a big issue, but it could be a little bit in our way. Well, we'll just do the same thing. So yeah, so max 3 bears will be in our way. We have the rifle, so it should be okay. So here there can be another wolf. Let's get this back out. I'm running out of revolver bullets, but if you run out of bullets for the revolver once you have it, you can use the rifle, or you can just use the flare. And if the wolf is on you, you just light the flare, and then aim at it with a rock, or just keep your distance. Won't make a difference. I think we'll drink a coffee. The Darkwalker is now probably about here or something. Let's keep going into the mine. I think the mines count as coastal highway, not Pleasant Valley. So we should be okay. You could use the spell fog here just to illustrate a point. We're not going to need it anywhere else. But I could just to illustrate how this works. You can see how this glyph. Oh. Oh, you scared me. Just as I was, he came around the corner. I was fiddling with something else. So I wasn't prepared for it. Okay, so what you can do is you have in your arsenal, you have this spell fog glyph. You can only use this once. But if you now look at the map, you see it's 57%. If I use this now, this will go back down to, I think it goes to half, so it'll be like, what's that, 28% or something like that. If I use this now, it will remove the effects of the fog. See? Now it's at 29. And also there's a bit more visibility. But as you can see, all it really did there was to buy me 30% more time, which I'm not going to need anyway. It's mostly used for areas like this one where you transition and you need more time. You can only use it once, but if you are in a situation where you feel like you're running out of time before the fog gets in, then use it. Just spray it, use it, and then leave. And you'll be fine. Okay, so let's head into the mines and get out of here. Hello fellow survivors, if you are still watching this video then you are awesome, but I have some bad news and some good news. The bad news is that something happened with the audio in this recording. I'm not really sure why, but this part you're watching from here onwards is the last part of my recording, and for some weird reason the mic just started stuttering. I did not realize this until I started editing the video together, and I could tell there is like a staticky background noise that makes the whole thing sound a bit weird. Actually, I'll put the in-game sound back on for a bit so you can hear what I'm talking about. On this difficulty, it may or may not be there. We are going to check though. Grab this.
This will come in handy.
As you can hear, my voice is a bit like scrambled. There's some sort of static being captured. I don't really know what happened, but I tried to filter this out using different noise filters to see if it could make it sound more normal, but I just, even after all my best efforts, it still sounded very staticky and annoying, and I decided that I don't think it's worth keeping the sound because it was just going to annoy you. So I decided that, well, I have two options. I can record the whole thing, which I was leaning towards doing, but I thought it was kind of like a fun run. You're getting mauled with the bear and everything, and it's kind of a shame to lose that. So I thought, well, we can just get me dubbing the rest of it. So here you are. This is editing Zach. You're going to have to enjoy the rest of this video with mostly me just talking and explaining what's happening. With little to no in-game sound. I hope that's okay. If not, then I'm really sorry, and let me know in the comments and I'll re-upload a different run later. By the way, right now where I am now, I'm looking for the stim. You see here I'm picking up a stim on these planks here. This stim is usually always there. It's actually one of the guaranteed stims on Interloper. It won't always be in that exact location, but it will always be in this mine somewhere. And as you can see, I'm actually carrying quite a lot of stims and gold drinks and stuff, actually way more than necessary. So from this point onwards in the run, I am going to start using a lot of these different stims and gold drinks and so on, because there isn't really much more to do. And from this point onwards, it's actually really easy to challenge, because you can see the campfire is quite far away, but you can actually see it in the distance. This little green light. We're going to head there. And I'm placing a lure down just to get the Darkwalker to come there and to get a feel for how far away it is. But from this point onwards in the challenge, it's actually really easy, because we have now gotten past through all the chokes. We've gotten past all the difficult areas where the Darkwalker can catch up with us. And the thing is that the Darkwalker is now going to be behind us pretty much all the time. We have to go into the middle of Pleasant Valley to grab the diary page here, and then we have to kind of head diagonally out of Pleasant Valley. But other than that, the Darkwalker will now continuously just stay behind us, and that means that it's not really going to be an issue anymore. We just need to get past the wildlife, really. And there's a few bears in the way still. And that's about it. So the rest of this challenge is pretty easy. As long as you made it this far, it's pretty straightforward. And I have a lot of resources left in this run. I have a lot of gold drinks. I have a lot of stims. So I'm just going to use those to get there. I will probably unmute the video when I banish the Darkwalker, so you can get the neat sounds of that. But yeah, something happened with the mic. I don't know what it was. I'm really sorry about that. It just, when I checked it later, for some reason, this last half hour has this static in it. I could not get rid of it. I'm really sorry about that. So you're gonna have to have a muted in-game sound now, and then just my voice. Hopefully that's all right. But please let me know if you found that a bit boring and annoying that the rest of the video is mostly muted with just my voice. And then one day I will do a re-recording of this. I'll do like a walkthrough 2, a better walkthrough. I'm going to do a speedrun of this again as well. I might do that on stream, I'm not sure. So there'll be more videos on Darkwalker anyway. But yeah. If you're extremely lucky, you'll get some in-game sounds here of me dubbing over, but I don't think I'm going to do that. But yeah, I was thinking of just re-recording the whole run. It takes, 3 hours to do this. So I was leaning towards quality control and just doing it all over again, but I thought there were a few cool things that happened in this run that I wanted to include, like me getting mauled by a bear and then recovering from that. So I figured maybe it's more fun to just dub over it. Let's try that for a change. I've never done that before. And in fact, a lot of people have asked if I could dub over my speedruns, in which case it would sound like this, except you would have in-game sound because the speedruns are recorded with in-game sound but no mic. So you can let me know how you feel about this. Effectively, you got 80% of this video normal, and then the last 20% or whatever is just me talking. But okay, anyway, enough about that. Sorry about that. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. In any case, if you made it this far in a challenge, the rest is pretty easy. You just gotta get the last 2 campfires, and then you gotta banish the Darkwalker, and there isn't really much in the way anymore. There's a few bears you gotta worry about. There's a few wolves, but the wolves are not so much of an issue. So now we're just heading to this campfire. I'm being a little bit careful because in this particular area there is a bear. The bear of the birch forest. There can also be a moose, and moose can spawn on this challenge. I haven't seen any so far, but you will see one a bit later in this run. Spoiler alert. So here we are at the campfire, the 9th campfire. You may have noticed that for the majority of this run, except for the beginning, I started just picking up the diary pages immediately when I found them, because I realized that I sometimes would wait to pick them up until I left, but I would forget them, and that was too risky. And as you can tell, like even now at the end, when I have all of the diary pages, the Darkwalker is miles away from catching up. He just cannot catch up. He's way behind. He still hasn't caught up with my lore, so he's not going to be able to catch up at all at this point. From now on, it's just the wildlife. And I found a better revolver, so I'm unloading one and dumping it, and then I refill and I do a little bit of inventory management. I got too much stuff. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need. I'm not going to end up using most of this actually, but I could. I just decided to keep most of it after all. Got a Mackinac jacket. Oh, and by the way, another reason this is a bit stupid. Maybe I shouldn't have dubbed this today actually, because I am recovering from a mild cold. I don't really know if my voice sounds different. But yeah, it'll be a double experiment. See, I did do this once before. I once did a video where I had a cold and I recorded it, and then I asked if people could let me know if it sounded weird or whatever, but no one said anything. So anyway, here we are in Pleasant Valley, one of the most hated regions of all. And what I'm looking for is the bear, because there is a bear over here, and I don't want to encounter him. And here he is. I see him in a second. It's very hard to see, but he is there in the birch trees to my right now. I do notice him eventually. There he is. You can see him there. There's a little black thing in the middle there. This black dot. There he is. Yep. And I decided to circumvent that entirely. And in which case, there's only 2 bears left. So what's left to encounter in this challenge now is the bear guarding Timberwolf Mountain entrance, or the bridge rather, and then the bear by Timberwolf Mountain, the campfire itself, and then there's a moose that could block us in Ash Canyon, and there's a few wolves. There's 2 wolves up here, there's 2 wolves by the rope to Timberwolf Mountain, there is usually a wolf in Timberwolf Mountain that's in the way, and there's usually 1 or 2 wolves in the way in Ash Canyon too. But as long as you have the revolver, you'll be fine. The revolver is great. It's a shame we don't have it on Interloper. Actually, it would be kind of cool because it's not a hunting weapon, it's deterrent. And you know, of course, I turned off the in-game sound now, but you will hear me several times throughout this run. The rest of it, what am I saying? You'll hear it. Of course you won't hear it because I muted it. You will see me sometimes just shoot a random stray bullet. And that's because I know that there are wolves in the area, or I can hear the wolves are nearby. So what I do is I shoot a stray bullet, and just to see if a wolf runs away. And I will possibly unmute the recording at key moments, and then you'll, if that happens, then editing Zach, that is me, will suddenly disappear. You'll get a little bit of a staticky noise, but you'll get a better feel of what I mean by these shots. So I have to look at this after I record it, but if editing Zach disappears and static noise Zach comes back, it's just that I want to illustrate to you the sound importance here. So now we're crossing this bridge. This is how you get up to Timberwolf Mountain from this side. You have to get back onto the main road, and it's kind of this is the route. I'm just showing here that if you do a speedrun version of this, you can just sprint, and then you can pass time to recharge the sprint. But we're not doing a speedrun, so not doing that. I have a ton of energy drinks, so I'm not using it. Here's a shot coming up right now. I scare off a wolf. Okay, it's not now, it's a bit further up. I remember this though. I can hear a wolf nearby, so I just do a shot, and then the wolf runs away, and then a second wolf that's a bit further away also gets scared. I think I will unmute this part. Actually, I think I remember this quite good illustration of scaring off a wolf. Keep an eye out, there's our revolver handy. There you can see. The wolf came behind me. I didn't even see him, but I heard him. As you can see, that worked really well. I could hear that the wolf was nearby. I just shoot a round into the ground, and the wolf gets scared and it runs away. There was even a second wolf that I didn't even see, also got scared. This is the power of this revolver. It's meant as a deterrent against wolves. Over here is a shortcut you can use to get back onto the main road a bit easier. The main route is over there, but you can go this way. I'm only going to illustrate how to do this in case you didn't know. It's very easy. You just go over straight like that. Super easy. But just because this is a no shortcut kind of walkthrough, I'm going back now and just going the usual route. Here's the road. You can tell by these logs or whatever. So now we're back on the main road. And there is an issue that there is a bear in this area. It usually spawns not spawns, it has its den on the right. I am testing a painkillers. I just wanted to see if you could take a painkillers to cure the headache, which you can't, because you can't drink another. I don't think you can drink another energy drink until the headache goes away. And on the right there is a cave. You can safely stay in there, but it is a potential bear spawn. So I'm just looking out for the bear because it's the only real threat left, really. And the bear can patrol this area and it will be in my way. And I'm looking for it, but I don't see it. So it either hasn't spawned in this particular challenge, or it's out somewhere else. And I don't see it anywhere. I have the rifle with me because if I do encounter the bear, I have to do what I did earlier in this video, and I have to shoot it and jump off a ledge. or kill it. And because you can see the scare tactic didn't work. I have to admit I'm not entirely sure exactly how that works, because I have made many videos in the past where I have been doing hunting demonstrations with both the rifle and the bow or whatever, and the same thing always happens. If you shoot an arrow which is silent and you miss but it hits near the animal, they will flee. And if you do the same with the rifle, they also flee. I've seen that many times with both moose and bears. But in this run it didn't. So whenever I shot with the rifle, the bears just kind of ignored it completely. If anything, they were attracted to the sound and went towards me. I don't know if that's something they changed, or if it's a Darkwalker thing, or if it's always been like that and I just misunderstood. That's one of the drawbacks of mainly being an interloper player, is that you can risk getting a bit out of touch for these non-loper things. See, that worked. Scared away a wolf. That was nearby. Here you can see once again the gunshot is scaring the wolves, and this happens for some reason. This is a bit weird. That one was very odd. I don't really know exactly what happened there. I think it was just a coincidence that the wolf ran towards me and then it turned around its path. It wasn't actually attacking me. It just looked like it was. Although sometimes it does happen that the wolves, if you trigger an attack while the wolf is sprinting, for example, if the wolf is on you but has a sprint to catch up, and then you aim at it to trigger a charge, the wolf will run much faster than normal, and then stuff like that can happen too. Right, so I'm just checking quickly if there's anything, and it's not really anything. And then I was going to stim here, but I realized that I have quite a lot of stamina left, so I just decided to wait. So yeah, this is also the point in the video. There's very little else to say about the Darkwalker because we're kind of like near the end of it, and it's really just the banishing part that's left. But as you can see in this challenge, the main issue is really the animals. It's not so much the Darkwalker. There are a few times where the Darkwalker can be a bit of a pain, and he's too close and you're in like really tight edge and that sort of thing. But for the most part, the Darkwalker is not a major threat, because he's quite controllable. And as you can see, even when he does catch up with you, you just put down a ward and you run away. You put on a ward and you take a moment to think about what should I do next, and then you place a lure down, and then you go. Yeah, I'm looking. This is where the campfire is on Timberwolf Mountain, and you can go via the mountainous hut, but you don't need to. Then you're going out of Timberwolf Mountain into Ash Canyon via Echo Ravine. So that's the plan. And I'm exhausted, but there's no point sleeping because I have so many resources, so many stims left. So I'm just going to use them to get there faster. So I'm using my stims now. So now I'm just rushing to Timberwolf Mountain. If this is you playing and you made it this far and you are exhausted and maybe you don't want to use your sprint resources, what you can do is you can go to Mountainous Hut and you can just sleep there. You can just go there. And the Darkwalker is so far behind, it shouldn't be an issue. You can just rest in Timberwolf Mountain, get all your stamina back, all your life back, and there'll be no problem. And even if the Darkwalker catches up with you, like what happened to me in Trapper's Cabin, just put down a ward, place a lure, run to the next campfire, loot it, and then head into Ash Canyon, and you're good. So you are perfectly safe to sleep there. As long as you have good enough clothing and you're warm enough, which at this point you really should be, no problem. You can go into the Mountainous Hut here and sleep. It will be really no problem at all. I don't do it because in this run here I have so many gold drinks and stims and stuff, so I don't really do anything. Here you can see there's a moose marking there on my right. It happened very quickly, but there was a moose marking, so there can be a moose here. So you have to be a little bit careful on the right. You don't want to get stumped by a moose. If you get stumped by a moose at this stage, that would be not good because it will prevent you from really moving much. I think if that happened here, if you get moose stumped here, or even in Pleasant Valley, you would still manage because the stim will ignore the broken ribs, and you can just run even with broken ribs. You could also you could deliberately take off most of your clothing so that you are lighter, and then you can sprint more because it doesn't really matter if you get cold from this point onwards. Here I make a little mistake. Oops. And we go into Man's hut, which isn't necessary, but you can go in here and you can sleep here if you like. For my purpose, I have so many resources, I'm literally just checking the first aid kit, pretty much. And we're going to head to the campfire after this and down into the ravine. And there's a couple of things I check. I check the first aid kits, check all the first aid kits in case there's a stim, and there is a stim in this time. I believe those stims are random. It works just like in any other challenge. Pretty much all the challenges in the Long Dark have sort of random Voyager level loot. So a first aid kit can have a stim, but it's random. And saves can have stims, but it's random. The only exception, there's two exceptions. One is Acid Sleep. Acid Sleep follows interloper rules, and it has interloper loot. So in that one, all the stims are predictable. They will all be in specific locations. And in the Hunted Part 1, there are no stims to be found anywhere, except for the first one you find in the basement. So that's the only stim there is. Because it's meant to be balanced that way, I suppose, because of the bear. Although you can go to Ash Canyon if you want in the Hunted, and you can pick up a stim there in the first aid kit, which is like the world's biggest detour. But if you wanted to, you could do it. I've done it once for the fun of it. But yeah, anyway, we have so much energy here. We're now just heading towards the last campfire, which will trigger the banishing glyph once we get there. I'm just checking my left to look for the bear, and I do see it. There it is, coming out of its cave, and I decide to one more time just see if I could scare it off, but it doesn't work. You can see I'm shooting right at it, kind of. Okay, it's a bit later. And then nothing really happens except that it starts going towards me instead. Let's see. I think it's in. Yeah. Or we can just do this. Yeah, that didn't really do anything. It just it just kind of like immediately turns towards me, like, what was that? And then it heads towards me, which is annoying. However, from this point onwards, once you get to this campfire, the bears and stuff, they are no threat at all. Because here in this particular campfire, you will find the flare gun. And you can scare away moose and bears and whatever. Get rid of this wolf here. Yeah. Very easy to do, and I reload and I do it again, just get rid of the wolf. But here in this particular campfire, you also find the flare pistol. So that means you don't have to worry about bears anymore. You don't have to worry about moose or wolves or anything, because they are just all afraid of the flare gun. So now you reach the final campfire. So here you find a couple of containers if you want extra loot, which is pointless because the challenge will end and you'll lose all the stuff. But anyway, here you have the last diary page, which will unlock the banishing glyph. Here we get another stim and a bunch of other stuff. And here we got the banishing glyph now. So now if you choose the spray paint and go to the right, you'll find this banish glyph here, which you can only use or it only work in the banishing circle, which is what I'm finding here. That's here. That's north of Angler's Den. And you got to go through Ash Canyon to go. So I'm going to go through Echo Ravine and all the way up there. But there are some predators, there's wolves in this area I'm pointing at, and there's also moose in this area, so there are some more animals to encounter. It is, however, possible to get there without doing any kind of encounters from this point on, because what you can do here, follow the campfire up north into their clearing there, so go along that eastern side into their clearing, and then enter Ash Canyon, and when you get there, you exit here, and then you go over into Climbers Cave and that whole plateau, and down into Angler's Den and up to the glyph. And if you do that, you won't actually encounter any wolves at all, because they aren't in those areas unless you smell and they follow you. So it's actually really easy. From this point onwards, you could go that route if you like, and if you do, you will not encounter any more wildlife at all that is a threat. But I'm going to instead take the Echo Ravine route. I find it a little bit more straightforward from this point. And now I have the flare gun. You get 12 shells. You're perfectly safe. So if you wanted to start your run here in Timberwolf Mountain, you will start with the flare gun, which is fantastic. But you kind of have to do a whole loop around the world if you want to do it that way. I don't think that's worth it. Although you can also get a flare gun in the ravine. So it is possible to drop down into the ravine and get a flare gun there too. That's another way you can kind of get a flare gun and not be worried about bears. So if you feel you have the time, when you go through the ravine, you could drop down with a rope and get the flare gun there. And I was just looking for the bear, and I did not see it, so I decided to now start the sprinting back to the glyph. I'm selecting my weapon, so it's ready. The way you do that, at least on PC, is you hold the sprint button down, and then for a split second you just release the sprint button, and you click 2 on the keyboard, and you'll equip your weapon. But the flare gun is the 3rd slot, so I have to click 3 times. Although at this point in the game, I could have just dumped my rifle and a revolver or whatever. I have the wind against me here, so I'm running against the wind. And if you're still watching now, this is basically what a podcast would sound like if I was doing it, wouldn't it? Because it's just like just my voice and nothing else. Just me talking about stuff. And this is actually how I've thought about maybe doing a video, because I've been thinking of making a video called Why the Long Dark is the best game ever made. But I can't bring myself to write the script for that, because it's such a long thing and such a big thing to say. And I thought about maybe recording it like podcast style instead, but we'll see. Now here in Ash Canyon, you can do a shortcut just down here and walk down. Super easy shortcut, but sticking with the rule of keeping it clean, I'm going the usual route down here, and at this point there's pretty much no way the Darkwalker is going to catch up with you. He's miles away, and we're just going to run through here and make sure we don't run into any wolves. By the way, the Darkwalker here is usually so far behind that you could probably sleep twice and he wouldn't catch up with you. Before they actually patched it so he can catch up with you faster after you finished, because what would happen is when you get to the banishing glyph now and you start banishing the Darkwalker, he basically starts sprinting towards you. So he's much faster. He's like 3 times as fast or something like that. But even though he's now fast, he will still take a long time to get to you. So for me, when I banished him the first time I tried to speedrun this, I got to the glyph, and then I banished him, and I had to wait almost 5 minutes before he caught up. I was waiting there for 5 minutes, dippy-doo, before finally he caught up. It took too long, so they eventually patched it so that he's now much, much faster. But not until you banish him. Now on the left there is the moose. This is one of the 2 spawn locations for the moose in Ash Canyon. He should appear. There he is on the left. And I just, for the fun of it, shoot a flare at him. Why not, right? And then he runs off. And then I continue. And that's the only moose I've seen this run, fortunately. But you could just stim through the rest of this. As you can now, it's literally just getting to this banishing circle. Remember, as usual, that your gear and your health and all that stuff really doesn't matter at this point. It's just, the challenge is going to end anyway. And then now I'm just running through the last part. There's a one more wolf in the way here, which we have to get through. This is what the wolves I call Mike and Tim. They are over here on the right, and they can be in your way, so I gotta have the weapon ready. And it should be there on the right. You can see one of the wolves, but that's the last one. And there's something very strange happens. I don't really know what this is. You can see right ahead of me here, there's a flare shell on this limb. And I've never seen that before. I have no clue what that's about. At least I don't remember seeing that before. Maybe it was always there and I just forgot. Or it could be that it's something that they added just to signal that you are on the right way. Although I don't know why they would put it there and not somewhere else, but okay. Or it could be a bug. I don't know. I've never seen that before that I remember anyway. Anyway, now we're towards the banishing area. We're just following the river here rather than taking the shortcuts. And then here you can see on the map, it's right ahead of me now. So very, very close. Toxic fog is not an issue. There's some wolves around here, but they're not going to get you unless you have carrying a bunch of meat or something on you. And then we're running towards it. The wolves in this challenge haven't really been much of an issue because they've been scared off so easily with the revolver. By the time I pretty much didn't see any wolves until I got the revolver, and then you just scare them off. But normally you can of course scare them off with flares, and we have a bunch of flares too. So they're in the banishing circle, so now what you are here, you can actually destroy the Darkwalker, which is different from how it was in the Halloween event, where you couldn't actually destroy the Darkwalker. It's just a matter of time before you died. As you can see, we have a bunch of resources left, so much more to do, so many cans. There's way more than we actually need. So many resources. So this is going quite well, especially considering I got attacked by a bear. And then we grab the spray can, we click the banishing button, and you spray this inside the circle, and now the Darkwalker will start sprinting towards you. And he's going to be very fast now, much faster than before. Like I said before, when I speedrun this, I could sit there and wait up to 5 minutes. It would take forever for him to catch up. But now they made it faster. I think he teleports or something. He's much, much faster. And I haven't actually tested this, but I'm pretty sure you have to stay inside the circle in order for this to work. I'm pretty sure that if you exit the circle, he will just kill you. I never tested. I'm not sure why I would want to test anyway. Anyway, here he comes. He's running towards us now at a high speed, and I'm just messing around with this. And then once he reaches me, he'll try and attack me, and then he dies. And here's the flare fiction, and I'll just let you see what happens for yourself if you haven't seen this before. There he comes. But he's in the circle, so we got him. And that's it. And there we are. We have banished the Darkwalker. So there we go. That's how you do this challenge. It is easier than it looks. I still think that As the Dead Sleep is much easier than this particular challenge here, because As the Dead Sleep, you know, has permanent health loss and all that stuff. But here it's really easy. There's so much loot and you recover health so fast. It's really not that much an issue. The wildlife, particularly the bears, are the biggest issue. The wolves can be scared of. So as you can see with this challenge, the animals are more of an issue than the Darkwalker itself. The Darkwalker will just follow you around, but if you place the lures down, you pretty much always have control of where the Darkwalker is. And even if the Darkwalker corners you somewhere, you can place a ward down to buy some time and then place a lure to get out of there. You know, I don't think the Darkwalker really is a real threat unless you have very low health and he corners you. So in my case, after I got attacked by the bear, if I had encountered the Darkwalker in a close range so that he triggered the fear affliction, then I could have died because you lose health that way. So that would have been one possibility. But other than that, there isn't much of an issue because you recover health so quickly, even if you get attacked by an animal. The wolves have not been an issue because, as you can see, even with running and sleeping and everything, there's a pretty generous grace period where the wolves don't spawn. In my case, I don't remember seeing a wolf at all until, when was that? That was I don't think I saw one until Coastal Highway or Desolation Point. It took a long time before I saw a wolf. That weren't really in the way. No, there was one in Mountain Town. That's right. Yeah, so the wolves takes quite a while before they spawn, so they're not really an issue in the early game. So you just got to stay away from the Darkwalker. And by the time the wolves have spawned, you have flares, so you can scare them off and that sort of thing. And then when you get to Ashura Valley, you have the revolvers. So they're very easy to scare off. And then the only really issue is the bears. You just got to stay away from them, because if they're on your way, you have to scare them off, or even better, just circumvent them completely. So unless you have the flare gun, of course. If you have the flare gun, you can scare them off, but you can only get that if you go to the ravine or if you spawn in Timberwolf Mountain, which I don't think you want to do. But yeah, anyway, so that was the Darkwalker, Escape the Darkwalker challenge. I hope this video was useful. I do apologize for the last half hour of this video where the sound got lost. I really don't know what happened, but oh well, here we are. It became Podcast Zach at the end. Please let me know how that worked. If you thought that was a bit annoying and you would have rather preferred that you didn't really like that last experience, let me know and I can consider re-recording it. I will probably also do a speedrun of this again as well. Anyway, but I hope you now saw how it's like to defeat the Darkwalker, and I hope it wasn't as scary as you thought, and you can now do it yourself. And yeah, just best of luck out there. It will not be a problem. I mean, I survived the bear attack and then did it, so if I can do it, then you can do it too. Remember that. So with that being said, survive well, banish the Darkwalker, and see you next time, survivors. Bye-bye.